patient. Swing at strikes. Don't already have your mind made up that you're going to swing at the pitch before you see it. Hit the ball where it's pitched, and I think both guys are seeing great results as a result of the extra effort they put into the batting cage with Terry Pendleton.
How long does it take a strong guy to get convinced that if he hits the ball where it's pitched, the home runs are going to follow?
It shouldn't take either one of those guys very long because of their home run totals in their career, with Castilla especially having hit 40 or more homers 3 or 4 times. Well, here are the starting lineups for today's game, brought to you by Kia and the all-new Sorento SUV. Kia, make every mile count. And for the Pittsburgh Pirates, their lineup very much like it was yesterday. Lofton, Kendall, and Brian Giles at the top of the order. Aramis Ramirez has hit in 19 straight games. He'll be followed by Simon, Sanders, and Wilson. The change is Abraham Nunez, who will bat 8th and play second base. And young right-hander Josh Fogg will pitch and bat 9th. For the Braves defensively on this beautiful Sunday afternoon, in the outfield, Jones, and Sheffield. The infield the same as last night, Castilla for Call, Brian Giles, and Robert Fick. Javi Lopez, the man we were just talking about, will do the catching. And on the mound, 28-year-old Russ Ortiz, 6'1", 210 out of Gilbert, Arizona, 7-3 for the year. He's lifetime 6-0 against the Pirates, by the way. 5-2 this year here at Turner Field. And one thing worth noting, they've got several right-handed batters in the lineup today, do the Pirates, and right-handers only hitting at a 164 clip against him. The umpires for today's game, behind the plate, a guy who I've always considered a hitter's umpire. Darrell Cousins will be behind the plate. Mike DeMuro is at first, Andy Fletcher at second, and the crew chief, who did a good job last night behind the plate, Joe Brinkman, will work at third. 76 degrees at game time. Boy, you couldn't ask for a prettier day. Humidity's a little high, 79%, and I was down on the field as the Pirates were finishing up their batting practice, Don, and it was very muggy down on the field, so we'll keep an eye on the players today when they work up a pretty good lather early.
Well, it's easy to get loose here, and I think you like that as a pitcher in the era that we're in now. If you can get loose quickly, you avoid giving up runs in the first inning. That seems to have been the order of the day for most of the pitchers we've seen this year. Hitter's umpire. What does that mean?
It's going to be a little bit of a tight strike zone, I would guess, for both Russ Ortiz and Josh Fogg. He's not real generous, never has been in the past, overly generous with the corners, and we'll see how it pans out today, given all this Quest Tech stuff that's affecting all of the umpires in their strike zones.
How do you think this will affect Russ Ortiz? He already has 39 walks in 80 innings.
He could ask for a better umpire for him and the way he pitches.
Well, we're set to go, and here's Kenny Lofton. Lofton has done a good job for the Pirates, a late sign by them. Lofton is hitting 31 of his last 32 ball games, a 385 clip during that. That brings him a 312 batting average as he comes to the plate. And there's a ball outside. Lofton is getting his first look at Ortiz. Lofton last night, a base hit, he scored a run. He was 1 for 5. Good pitch from Ortiz, 1-1. Ortiz with a 383 earned run average. If you're not familiar with Russ Ortiz, a fastball that's in the upper 80s, a changeup that he is getting more and more confident with, and a good curveball. 1-2.
As well as he's pitched on, I think his last outing against Texas was one of his worst of the year, and he got no decision, and the Braves, he hung around enough to keep the Braves in it. The Braves won the ball game. But 7 hits and 4 walks in 6 innings, and it seemed like he was behind in the count all day long.
He will pitch behind in the count a lot, but one of the things that he does, kind of catching on to the Braves and apparently the Giants' system of pitching, is if you get behind and you walk people, just don't give in. Kind of contradicts the old schoolboy adage you were taught: throw strikes and take your chances.
Right.
2-2 to Lofton. Jason Kendall on deck. 6-0 with a 211 earned run average in 6 starts, 7 ball games against the Pirates. Now that 211 earned run average is impressive enough. It's been 2 years since he faced them. He had a 139 against them till then. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, one of the reasons we were talking about the walks, he's in the top 6 in walks allowed by pitchers in the National League with his 39. But one of the reasons, the good earned run average and the winning record, league only hitting .220 against him. And he he and Javi Lopez having a little difficulty getting on the same page.
Well, he gave up a 3-run homer in the first to Juan Gonzalez, and then he gave up a home run in the second inning to Mark Teixeira. So he was behind 4-0 early, but was able to kind of contain things while the Braves were able to catch up. And that was a sign of a veteran pitcher too, who got behind early but still tried to keep his team close.
Didn't let it get out of hand. Another 2-2 pitch to Lofton. Downstairs, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Russ Ortiz will tally up some pitches early in the ballgame. Don't be surprised when game gets to the 5th or 6th inning if you see him with 80, 85, maybe even 90 pitches. But he is one that you can leave out there and not worry about the pitch count. And there's a walk to start it. Good at bat for Kenny Lofton. He's down to first for Jason Kendall. Kendall, a catcher hitting in the second spot, but brings a little bit more to this position than most guys who are catchers. He's a guy that may be on their ball club the best hit and run guy they have. Last 8 ball games, he's gone 11 for 31. That's bumped his average up 12, 13 points to where it stands now at 283. Best hitting has come against right-handers, hitting 154 against lefties, but 309 when there's a right-hander out there. Get the Pirates start a little action early. Yes, they do. Stolen base by Lofton. Ball popped out of Javi Lopez's mitt. So Ortiz in a jam early. 1-0 to Kendall.
Looked like that ball hit in Javi Lopez's web. And as a result, when he tried to make the transfer to his hand, couldn't grab it.
Kind of shaking his head there, like that didn't turn out the way he thought it was going to.
You can see by that graphic the Pirates have been a good early inning team. Last night was a little different. They got all the runs in the 5th inning.
An unselfish hitter is Kendall. He'll try to get it over to that right side to get Lofton to third. 2 balls and no strikes. Second generation major leaguer out of the Kendall family. His father, Freddie Kendall, played with the Padres and I think the Detroit Tigers. I remember him. Did a good job in the early life of the San Diego Padres. 3-0.
Most pitchers like to establish their fastball early, in and out, but especially in to set up other pitches. I think sometimes Russ Ortiz doesn't establish his curveball early enough because it's a good pitch, and I think he needs to make the hitters more aware of it.
There's a strike on the inside corner. And having watched Ortiz now for a little over 2 months, I believe that pitchers have their delivery gives them an identity or gives them a pitch that is natural for them. And in watching Russ Ortiz, I believe his delivery is tailor-made for a curveball. That's out of play to the right side. It'll be a full count to Freddie Kendall. Now there are some pitchers that when they get into a jam, you go back to what you or when you're struggling with your mechanics, you go back to what your natural delivery is, and with that pitch. Remember when I used to have trouble, Red Adams, a pitching coach, would say, let's go down and throw some curveballs. That would get you back into the groove. And I believe that Russ Ortiz, when he's throwing good curveballs, gets the ball down better and throws better fastball. Kendall is out of there. Sneaked a fastball by him. Late swing by Kendall. You won't see him strike out very often.
Took him a little bit off the plate. Kendall thought it might be the perfect pitch to try to hit to the right side, but he couldn't reach it. Just a little bit too far away, and may have been that cut fastball running away from him too, from Ortiz.
There's Brian Giles. Giles at 291 as he stands in. 5 home runs and 25 RBIs. Giles family reunion over the weekend.
Judging by his comments in the Atlanta paper today, he'd like to make that reunion permanent. I was very surprised.
Borderline tampering there, huh?
Maybe. Got a couple of years left on his contract. Said he'd love to play with his brother.
He had a good night last night. 4 for 5, 3 singles and a double. 2-0.
There are some, I don't even know if they're rumors at this point, but some rumblings that Giles might be available near the July 31st trade deadline if the Pirates are out of the race.
Another 3-ball count. 3 consecutive hitters that Russ Ortiz has gone 3 balls to.
Is he pitching around this guy, though, the right-hander coming up? I know Ramirez is hot. 19 straight he's hit in, but double play possibility.
Early in the ball game, when you're having trouble locating, you can't afford to pitch around anybody. And he walks it. Whether he was pitching around him or not, we'll never know. But we do know they're at first and second for Aramis Ramirez, who has a 19-game hitting streak. During that stretch, he's hitting at .438. When he started that streak, his batting average was .218. Now he's just 3 points shy of 300. Not as many home runs, only 2. That's drawing some questions from the people who follow him. He has 26 RBIs. Hit plenty of doubles, though. 14, that's tops in this lineup. And there's your curveball. Good result, strike 1.
I just like that pitch. I think it's one of his better pitches, and I think it's underutilized. Pirates don't have anyone in double figures in home runs. That compares with Atlanta, who has, Braves have 4 guys with double figures in homers, and Castilla has 9.
Ramirez has excelled in this situation. 10 hits in his last 29 at bats. Not this time. Could be a double play. Call turns it. So Ortiz in and out of a jam. Good fielding gets him to double play to end the inning, and the Pirates are turned away. Braves will send up for call Giles and Sheffield.
For special sport.
Quickly, let's check out Bobby Cox's starting lineup as we go to the bottom of the first inning. For call, Giles and Sheffield will start things in the first. Then the Jones boys, Fick, Lopez, Castilla, and Ortiz round out the order, and we're underway in the bottom of the first.
For call at 320, 0 for 3 last year when Fogg pitched a good game against the Braves. Lost it, but he only gave up 1 earned run. 2-0. Another young, talented guy on this pitching staff. He's 26 years old, 6 feet tall, 200 pounds. Sinking fastball, changeup, and a slider at his arsenal. Maybe it's the mound.
Might be, but he's only walked 12 batters in 33 innings, so this is unusual for him.
There's a strike, 3-1. Throws across his body. By that we mean the front leg lands more toward the right-handed batter's box, and then the backside has to work over the top of that leg that could lock him out. 3-2. What that will do is give you a good tail on your fastball. It'll run back away from left-handers. And that's the book we have on Fogg. For call, 1 out of 5 last night. Only 3 hits in his last 16 at bats. Fair ball inside the bag. Extra bases for Foucault. He's going to try for 3, and he is going to have 3. He came into this ball game tied for first with 7 triples. That gives him 8 and the outright lead. And a good start for the Atlanta Braves.
Don, that's a triple only for Rafael Furcal. There aren't too many other guys in baseball that can turn this one into 3. Reggie Sanders did a great job of getting over into the corner and cutting this ball off. And he has a very good arm. But Furcal just basically outran the relay from Abraham Nunez, and it was off the mark a little bit. Good hustle to start the ball game and got the crowd into it right away.
So a chance to break on top as Giles stands in. He's at 322. Slider outside for ball 1. Giles 2 out of 5 last night, added to his RBI collection with a pair, had himself a double. He's been hot this homestand, 7 of his last 17. Right side, that'll get the run in, maybe. It's Randall Simon's throw on time. Good play by Randall Simon. They were back and sitting at this vantage point. You just had to figure they were conceding that run.
They were conceding the run, but Call froze. When this ball was hit, he didn't break right away. And Simon heard from Nunez. Nunez was the one yelling, home, home, because he saw Call freeze. And Raphael got a late start, and a good throw by Simon got him.
Good teamwork on the infield by the Pirates to give Simon that heads up, so the Braves' opportunity could go by the wayside. Call is out. Giles at first for Gary Sheffield. Sheffield with a 5-game hitting streak, 9 out of his last 16, and 3 of those 9 hits have been homers. Right now, Sheffield at .359. Pirates are a club he has hit well against, a .294 batting average, but the long ball, 18 homers off Pirate pitching. Good breaking ball, and there's strike 2. Home runs are something that has bitten the Pirates pitching staff with regularity. They've given up homers in 6 straight ball games. During that stretch, the Pirates have given up 15 homers, 11 of them solo shots, 3 2-run homers, and 1 3-run shot. 5 home runs yesterday by the Atlanta Braves were the most against the Pirates since 2002. The Giants got him 6 times in that ball game. 1-2. If you're the third base coach, getting back to that play, what are your instructions there? Go on contact?
Normally.
If they're back, yeah. Popped up. Who wants it? Looks like it's going to be Randall Simon. 2 gone.
And here's the defense, the rest of the defense for the Pittsburgh Pirates. In the outfield today, they've got Giles, Lofton, and Reggie Sanders. Ramirez, Jack Wilson, Abraham Nunez, and Randall Simon. Third to first, Jason Kendall doing the catching. Josh Fogg, as Don told you, 26 years old, 6 feet, 202 pounds, out of Riverview, Florida. He was a 3rd-round pick by the White Sox, came over in the deal along with Kip Wells, and he's out of Florida University.
Chipper Jones faced him 3 times in that outing last year and went 0 for 3. Starts him with strike 1 on the sinker. There was a stretch about a month ago where Chipper Jones had cooled off, maybe 3 weeks ago. But he continued heating up last night. 2 out of 4 homer and 2 RBIs. He's 6 hits in his last 13 at bats. A little outside for ball 1. If you want to take it back to the end of that month that saw him struggle a little bit, hitting .338 for the last month, 8 homers, and he's averaging just about an RBI a game during that stretch. 2-1.
Yeah, he's kind of quietly going about his business. Got his average up over 300. He's driving in some runs, but because Lopez and Sheffield and Call and Giles at some point have been kind of dominating the stardom part of the games in terms of game-winning hits and that sort, you don't read much about Chipper.
Inside 3-1. And you know what? Sometimes I know he has been a star here for a while, and with that goes the responsibility of being in the spotlight, but sometimes just being around him, and I know you do a radio show with him almost daily, he seems to like kind of fading into the background. Not with his accomplishments, but just kind of being out of the center of attention.
Yeah, he doesn't mind that at all, and as long as the team is winning, he could care less who's getting it done.
They'll give Giles a running jump. 2 outs, 3 balls and 2 strikes to Chipper Jones. See what Fogg goes to here on his 3-2 pitch. Breaking ball, and he just missed with it. So he tried to trick it. 3 balls and 2 strikes. That'll put him at first and second for Andruw Jones.
Tried to go to the corner, but it curled around the plate. And again, and this is not a knock on Darrell Cousins, because I've always thought he was a good umpire. That's just his way. I mean, he's not going to be real generous, as I said, with that outside part of the plate, and don't look for that call much during the day.
4-game hitting streak for Andruw Jones during that stretch. 6 out of 12 with a couple of homers. Average up to .297. There's a strike on the outside corner. 1 hit and 4 tries last night. That was a solo homer. Hasn't had a lot of at-bats because of nagging injuries this homestand. Only 5 at-bats. 2 for 5. Both the hits have been homers. Outside 1-1. I don't know if you saw the game last night, but
Yeah, I did.
oh, I know you did, Clifford Earl. But they had the mic on Mark DeRosa, and one of the funniest comments of the night by DeRosa, what did he say? Here's a guy that's been out for 5 games. He's 2 at bats. He's got 2 dingers. 2-1. Well, sometimes we do these games and don't see them.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Giles at second, Jones at first. Back our way, and it's 2-2.
Is that Clifford Earl Swanson or is that Clifford Earl Johnson?
Clifford Earl Johnson. You know what a Clifford Earl is, don't you?
I've got a good idea.
Somebody that would drive from here to Chattanooga to 31 Flavors and order vanilla.
Yeah.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Roll toward third. Ramirez will step on the bag, and the Braves waste a golden opportunity. The leadoff triple by Furcal, but no runs on the board for the Braves. To the second, no score. No score as we head to the top of the second inning. Some really exciting festivities prior to the game. The Golden Knights parachute team out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina, entertaining the crowd. I think that's called halo parachute jumping. High altitude, low opening. Boy, were they good.
That was a great shot from the camera on top of the one fellow's helmet. It's to celebrate the U.S. Army's 228th birthday.
Happy birthday and thank you. Randall Simon first up. He wastes no time. Jumps on the first pitch and an easy first out for Russ Ortiz.
And with that, it's time for TBS in the Booth, powered by AOL for broadband. And if you've got a question for us this afternoon, send us one by way of email. Send it to MLB@TBS.AOL.com. And please tell us your name and where you're from, and we'd appreciate it.
16 of the Pirates' 25 wins have come on the road. Reggie Sanders is a guy who is partly responsible for that. He's hitting .319 away from Pittsburgh. Half a dozen homers. He only has 8 overall at .256 with 24 RBIs. Likes the ball inside. Doesn't like it there. 0-1.
Never has.
Where was it? What year was it the Braves played Cincinnati in postseason? Reggie Sanders had a heck of a year. 95 and for the first time, Braves exposed him in postseason with nothing but letter high fastballs out away from him.
Struck him out a bunch.
Right back out there and a little too high, a ball and a strike. He is a good low middle end hitter, good breaking ball hitter when you throw it for strikes. But it's a term you used to hear in baseball, but you don't hear it quite as much. It's almost like he has a blind spot out away from him right at the letters. Javi Lopez is back out there, and he misses again. 1-2. Nothing fancy about that style pitching.
No.
There used to be a second baseman who was a good offensive ball player, Damaso Garcia. Almost the same thing, and you didn't have to throw 90 miles an hour just to go right out there between the letters and the belt. It was amazing the number of swings he would take, always in the same groove and just never catch that pitch. But miss inside, he'd rattle some boards. A lot like Reggie Sanders.
I remember
Showcase pitch inside. Excuse me, John.
Unfortunately, what I remember about Damaso Garcia was that he burned his uniform in the clubhouse in Toronto way back when, and there were a lot of teammates that took swings at him and didn't miss that day too for doing that to his uniform. I can't remember the reasons why he did it, but they took exception to it, shall we say.
Just to see if the sprinkler system worked. Catches this one, but right at for call. 2 quick outs. Let's check in with TBS Sports Control. Our first visit with Aaron Andrews.
Okay, Don, let's give you an update from Shea. And Al Leiter has been chased after 2 innings. That's just the second time in the last 15 years he's pitched 2 innings or less in a start. Top of the 4th, Mike Cameron with a 2-run single off of Jeremy Griffith. Mariners all over the Mets right now. They lead 12-1, top of the 5th. Guys, back out to you.
2 outs in the top of the second. Jack Wilson's the hitter. Wilson at 249. There's a strike 1 to him.
That has the makings of a very long day at Shea for the Mets against a very hot team in Seattle.
Wilson 1 out of 4 last night. Remember, he's the guy that went to Lloyd McClendon, his manager, and said, you got to move me out of the 2 spot. I'm not hitting well. On a weak swing, and it's an easy inning for Russ Ortiz. In order go the Pirates.
Keep a car.
The end of an inning and a half, no score, and Robert Fick to lead it off. Fick with a 5-game hitting streak. 6 out of 17 with an RBI during that stretch. His batting average at 296. He has done most of the damage against right-handers. As a matter of fact, he would probably prefer that you don't run a left-hander out there at all. 347 against righties, but only 3 for 31 when they bring a left-hander into the ball game. In interleague play, he has had 1 matchup against Josh Fogg, and he went 0 for 3. 2-0. Fick's the kind of guy that I honestly have to admit didn't know a whole lot about him except what I'd read. I knew that he was a catcher. I knew he made the All-Stars last year. Rolls this one to second. An easy out. But he's the kind of guy that grows on you. The more you see him, the more you think if you stuck him someplace, he would get blisters learning to do it well there. Ground ball out. Here's Javi Lopez. Javi with a 4-game hitting streak. All he's done during that stretch is go 8 for 16 with 4 home runs, driving his total of homers up to 16, and his RBI total has jumped to 30. Inside for ball 1.
Well, if he's not the odds-on favorite right now to be the all-star catcher, I'd like to know who's doing a better job.
8 home runs and a dozen RBIs in his last 9 ball games. In the air to left field. That got in on his thumbs a little. An easy play for Giles, and out number 2 in the second inning. And another guy having a good year for the Braves. Bobby Cox said early in the year that he would keep him in there just for his glove. He'll save you more run than most third basemen will drive in. But this year you're getting a double dose from Vinny Castilla. 280 with 9 homers and 28 RBIs, and still getting the good defense. Couple of hits in 4 tries last night. One of the 2 hits a double. And he, along with almost everybody else in the lineup, up over 300 for the homestand. 4 for 13. He'll jump on the first pitch. Into shallow center. Nunez drops the glasses. About as easy as it can get for Josh Fogg. Braves go in order, and at the end of 2, still no score.
FansMLB.com has the widest selection of items for the team that you love. Shop MLB.com, the official site of wearing your heart on your sleeve, your cap, and today would be a good day for a cap. Your pullover, not a good day for a pullover, and lots more.
And if they slap a logo on some sunglasses, it'd be a good day for that too. Abraham Nunez to lead it off. No score, only 1 hit in the ball game. For call triple to lead off the Braves half of the first inning. He was thrown out at the plate. Nunez at 228. Did his first start over the weekend. Jack Wilson is the regular shortstop, and when he does get the start, though, Nunez hits well. 4 of his last 5 starts he has hit, 6 out of 20 in that stretch. Rolls it to second. Giles has him. An easy out number 1 for Russ Ortiz.
Boy, these pitchers, we've got to appreciate these first pitch outs they're getting.
On a day like today, you appreciate them any day, but you mentioned earlier it is muggy down there. And right now, Russ Ortiz into the 3rd inning with only 29 pitches. That's a pretty low total.
Especially when he threw 8 to Kenny Lofton in the first batter of the game before walking him.
Josh Fogg is 2 out of 10, and he has an RBI. Ball 1 outside. Inside. The 200 average may be a little bit over his head. He came into this season hitting 121 without any home runs and striking out about once every other at bat. Down Broadway, 2-1.
So that 200 average is not really a foggy area.
No, not gray at all. Off the end of the bat, Ortiz will take it himself. Not many times do you get to write down one unassisted when a hitter is swinging.
A couple of good defensive plays already today by Russ Ortiz.
Number 7, center fielder.
And with the first baseman having to come over just in case the ball gets by him, Ortiz has to take it to the bag himself.
Made a lot easier by the fact that his momentum carries him that way, so he had a couple of steps head start. Kenny Lofton will kill a little time to allow Fogg to get back into the dugout. Lofton walked, stole second. Pirates had a couple of men on with only one out in the first inning, but another good defensive play by Ortiz. Tough chance for Furcal, and he gets out the speedy Lofton. Ortiz had him hitting it on the ground, and 1, 2, 3 and in order. End of 2.5, still no score.
The show with style, substance, and sophistication is back in prime time. Seinfeld Prime Time, every Wednesday night starting at 8 Eastern on TBS Superstation.
The Home Depot is more than a store. It's a toy box for dads. And during Dad Days, now through June 15th, it's the best place to find the perfect gift for Dad. Like if you're looking to get him a mower, tools, or a select pressure washer, there's no interest or payments until June 2004 on purchases of $299 or more. Just use your consumer credit card. Perfect gifts, no payments or interest, and guaranteed everyday low prices will make Dad smile. The Home Depot. You can do it. We can help.
With new Odor Eaters Plus. Odor Eaters Plus is the only insole with podiatric arch support plus protection on demand against odor and wetness.
Inside every can of Minwax is the secret to enhancing wood's natural beauty. Minwax's rich wood stains and long-lasting protective finishes make it easy to turn any house into a beautiful home. Minwax makes and keeps wood beautiful.
You see a countryside without phone lines. At Franklin Templeton, we saw an opportunity to invest in what became one of the world's leading wireless communications companies. A smart call for our shareholders. Uncovering hidden opportunities like this requires a unique perspective, one that has made Templeton a pioneer in global investing. Franklin Templeton Investments. Gain from our perspective.
Two pretty good offensive ball clubs doing battle today, but thus far it has been Ortiz and Fogg who have dominated early in this one. Fogg working on a one-hitter. Ortiz hasn't allowed a hit and will lead it off. A .226 hitter with a homer and 4 RBIs. Triple threat. He's also doing a good job fielding.
And that bears repeating, I think, replaying rather, the double play he turned in the first inning. Watch how he leads Furcal on this. Rafael Furcal doesn't even have to look down. He leads him in stride, lands on the bag as he's making the throw. That was beautiful. That was a perfect lead throw from Ortiz.
One other thing I'd like to throw in there for that. Did you notice how Ortiz, before he made the throw, shuffled his feet to get himself squared up? So he didn't throw off balance. He didn't throw off the wrong foot. Made sure he was going to get one, and making sure he was going to get one got him 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, here's another guy. You're talking about Fick, and maybe he got my attention when he beat the Braves twice in the division playoffs last year. Maybe that was the eye-opener.
Fair ball, probably extra bases. Glenn Hubbard tells him to go for 2, and Ortiz will cruise in. A leadoff double. That's his second double of the year, and he's in scoring position for Rafael Furcal.
But I don't think I appreciated the fact that Russ Ortiz not only was a darn good major league pitcher, but he's a pretty good baseball player. And as evidenced right here with another extra base hit, his second double of the year to go with a homer and 4 RBIs. And when you look at his career record coming into today's game, Russ Ortiz is 74 and 47. That's not too shabby.
Standing out at second for Furcal. How do you play it here? Pirates in. They have to respect the bunt against Furcal. But he's swinging, rolls it right side. And they're going to try to get Ortiz, and they're going to get Ortiz. So Ortiz with a late break, and Randall Simon with his second assist of the day. He's thrown out a runner at the plate, and he throws out Ortiz at third.
A couple more spots. He's going to throw out people for the cycle. He's already got the 2 toughest. Ortiz not the swiftest of runners, but because that ball was hit sharply and because Simon was in close to the grass, an easy play for him.
Furcal will now be at first on the fielder's choice. Goes 3-5 in the scorebooks. And here's Marcus Giles. Giles out his first time on a fielder's choice. He was the guy that hit the ball to Randall Simon with Furcal at third. Simon threw out Furcal. Furcal with 11 steals. He's only been caught once. Fogg with some quick footwork, paying close attention to it.
Might have heard Pat Corrales in the background complaining to first base umpire Mike DeMuro that Fogg has to step. You're not allowed to jump in the air and turn as you're making your throw.
Pitch out, but nothing on. Fogg may have oversold that pitch out.
I was just going to ask you, is that a hard pitch to make?
I don't think so.
No, it wasn't hard for you?
No, and I think if you make yourself stay in the routine and you don't try to don't try to deceive it, I think the way we were taught was all you're throwing is a fastball out of the strike zone. Kind of like that one. 1-1. That's the way I was taught to throw a pitch out. The idea is to make the pitch out, not deceive the runner on it, because if you make the pitch out in the right spot, you're hoping that he runs.
Yeah, and you don't have to throw it a mile outside. You just want to make sure it's wide enough that the hitter's not going to offer.
And I think the best explanation that I was ever told is don't oversell it. Just throw a fastball out of the strike zone. On the ground to short, could be 2. Wilson to Nunez. Nunez with a quick turn. And so the Braves waste another extra base hit. Nothing doing on the scoreboard. End of 3, no score.
Superstation's going lethal. With Gibson, Glover, and more. All your favorites back to back.
We're not too old for this.
Lethal Sunday. Next Sunday at 3:30 Eastern on TBS Superstation.
Oh, look, it's the guy who falls. Fall now.
Oh, I don't really do that anymore. It's not like I got that insurance.
What insurance?
Aflac. They pay you cash if you can't work when you get hurt. Not that I ever do. Aisle 5 under lingerie.
Price check.
Aflac. Ask about it at work. Aflac.
Psst, Howie, you know how dads like you give. And give. And give.
Well, at Radio Shack, we believe it's about time dads receive. So get Dad cooking with a wireless barbecue thermometer on sale for $39.99. Or a Motorola color screen phone from Verizon Wireless on sale for $79.99 with activation. That's $150 savings. Radio Shack, you've got questions, we've got answers.
My dad taught me 2 simple rules about car care. To take care of the engine, change the oil. To take care of the fuel system, add STP. When your dad is Richard Petty, you tend to listen.
Get in the zone. AutoZone. If it's been 3 months or 3,000 miles since you changed your oil, then get in the zone. AutoZone. Protect your engine and change your oil today. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
She was my baby. My youngest daughter. She was vivacious. Beautiful, inside and out. When the coroner came to that office, I said, "What is ecstasy?" We've learned a lot about it since then.
No score at the end of 3, not much hitting. And when you have a game like this, Joe, it usually means good pitching and some good fielding. And you've liked the footwork at second today, haven't you?
Yeah, Abraham Nunez took one out of the Bobby Randall school of turning double plays. Watch, he catches the ball low and throws it from there. And look how Furcal had to bite the dirt to try to get out of the way of that. Nunez didn't take the time to stand up and come over the top. He threw it from wherever he caught the ball, and that was a good turn. And as we start the top of the 4th inning, Jason Kendall, who struck out his first time up, takes ball 1.
Sorry, I'll work on my introduction a little bit more.
No, I'm just enjoying the day and watching the game. Tough play down the line, looking up into the sun, and it'll be Sheffield in fair territory. 1 out.
Good time for us to drop in our Aflac trivia question. Who was the winning pitcher Game 7 of the 1992 NLCS? Ponder on that for a while. We'll give you the answer probably in the bottom half of the inning.
Is that the run slide Sid play? That is. Okay. Brian Giles walked his first time up. 4 hits in last night's game. I think I know. Giles raised his average to .291 with those hits last night. Off of Ortiz's glove, and that'll kill it just enough for Giles to get another hit.
First hit of the day for the Pirates, and right now Russ Ortiz will probably tell you kicking himself because he probably will think he should have had this one. Hit on top of it, overspin. If that ball had bounced back, if he'd have hit it with backspin, he probably would have made that play. But the overspin got it to him just a split second quicker than he was looking for. It's amazing. Overspin and backspin will make that much difference in the infield.
And how much different the hop is. Ramirez hit into a 1-6-3 double play, the one we showed you just moments ago, and fouls one back. He's hit in 19 straight games. Was 1 for 4 with a sacrifice fly last night. There's that streak for him. It's the longest in his career, and the team record is 27 straight.
2 longest streaks in the league this year have been had by Pirates. Kenny Lofton had one a little bit longer than this.
Nice block by Lopez, and the count 1-1.
You know, it seems like things that you work on in spring training go in cycles. One year there'll be cutoff plays, and one year everybody wants to do the fake to third and throw over. I wonder if this year in spring training there was a lot of emphasis put on blocking the balls at the dirt, in the dirt, because this is the best job up to this point we've seen in any season since I've been here.
Yeah.
By every team.
Runner goes. Hit and run play. That's going to find the gap. Ramirez is going to have 20 in a row, and the Pirates are going to have the lead. Giles rounds third. He'll score without a throw, and a hit and run double for Ramirez makes it 1-0 Pittsburgh. That was an easy John around the bases for Brian Giles.
Well, when you're hit and run, you want to hit the ball the other way and get that runner to third base. That's ideal. But he got a perfect pitch to go the other way with a curveball that stayed up a little bit. Giles picked up the ball at second and went into a cruise mode here. Almost when he got right about there, it's almost like he was teasing his brother Marcus, who had the relay throw. But that's hit and run as good as you can do it.
Randall Simon takes a rare first pitch strike. 0-1. He grounded out his first time up. Got to remember too, Giles was on the disabled list with a bad knee earlier in this season. Maybe he's nursing that a little. Up and in, even the count.
One of the things that helped him is where he was. The ball went right over his head, so he could see the angle, and once he picked it up, knew how much effort he had to put into it.
Ortiz took a long time getting this sign. And it's fouled out of play, 1-2. I was talking to Kenny Lofton before the ball game about that ball that Sheffield hit to him last night that was on one hop and almost knocked the wind out of him, almost handcuffed him. And he said, you know, and he pointed at Randall Simon and he said, that guy hits balls like that too.
With backspin.
With backspin.
Hit down on the ball, hit it hard.
We talked about that last night. Simon hits off his front foot a lot too. Fouls that one back.
Here's what you were talking about, Joe. Ball's drilled to center field, backspin on it. It's a long hop, but watch how quickly it gets into Lofton's midsection. So the ball skids and jumps. It doesn't, with backspin, it kind of pops up into the air.
And Randall Simon can tomahawk some high pitches too. Must be something about that bat waggle. 2-2.
Well, if it makes sense to me, if you stayed back, aren't you more likely to have a little bit of an uppercut swing? You were talking about hitting on your front foot if you stay back. But if you get out there, if the hands are back, it seems like the most natural swing is going to be down to the ball from any angle, even if you're out on your front foot. Put two. Ha.
That's low. 3-2.
I had 3 shots in my latte today. And
yeah, I know.
Kicking in, boy.
Reggie Sanders on deck. Simon up in the front of the batter's box too, as you can see. Got him with a high pitch. Probably ball 4. But a big strikeout for Ortiz there. Runner still at second for Reggie Sanders.
Well, he figures his strike zone is anything he could reach, but that was up cap bill high. I don't think there's anybody around that could do any damage to that fastball. Good velocity. Really trying to locate it. Looked like just going to reach back and throw it as hard as he could, as high as he could.
Sanders grounded to short his first time up. Takes a high pitch. 1-0. Those numbers you were talking about earlier, Don, in the 95 NLCS, Braves struck out Sanders 10 times in 16 at bats.
And he was coming off of a terrific year there.
You bet. One 1-0 to Sanders. 1-0 Pittsburgh. A good cut at that one. That RBI for Ramirez, by the way, on the hit-run double, his 27th run driven in for the year.
Last 2 nights, our last 2 games, a little bit unusual for the Pirates. They usually do the bulk of their scoring in the first, second, and third innings. But all of it coming 4th inning last night, and now a run here in the 4th inning.
That high fastball, and he can't lay off of it. It's 1-2. Braves have a day off tomorrow, and then they head west to take on Oakland beginning Tuesday. The Pirates have a day off tomorrow, but they'll be traveling up to Toronto tonight. They still have quite a bit of road trip left. 3 in Toronto and then back down to Florida for 3 with Tampa Bay. That's a good road trip, isn't it?
Yes.
Good grief. Talking about some zigzagging. Atlanta, Toronto, Tampa Bay, and then home. Just missed the corner. 2-2.
Well, even if you don't get the call, I think you accomplish something here. You show him a fastball inside, knowing that you're probably going to get him out away. So you either strike him out looking or you set up the next pitch with that one.
Hitter's umpire. Two and two the count. Jack Wilson on deck. Breaking ball, and a good one, but Sanders got a piece of it.
See, whatever there is in his swing, and you know far more about it than I do, on a breaking ball, he has time to adjust to it. Maybe not to hit it solidly, but to adjust. But on the fastball out there, there's no adjusting. He just doesn't get the bat to it.
Two out, runner at second. The 2-2 pitch. There's the fastball, and he fought it off into left field. Chipper Jones may have a play at the plate. Ramirez is going to try to score, but the throw is up the line, and now the throw down to second is late, and the Pirates take a 2-0 lead. Chipper Jones had him dead to rights with a good throw, but it was up the first base line and gives Sanders an RBI, his 25th of the year.
And give him a fastball in a location that he can handle too. Down around the thighs and on the inside half of the plate. His swing just drops the bat right down to that one. Throw a little bit offline, and some good heads up aggressive base running by Reggie Sanders to get himself into scoring position. But that's the pitch he can get the bat to on the fastball, regardless of how fast you throw it. That one about thigh high, middle half, middle in.
And Jack Wilson with a chance to drive in a third run in the inning. Chased a high one. You know, you can, during batting practice, take a lot of fly balls, Don. You can kind of work on your breaks in the outfield off the crack of the bat in batting practice. But unless you're taking a regular round of infield and throwing from the outfield, I think it's hard to keep a pretty good rhythm on your throws to the plate. He's going to bunt, but popped it up 0-2. And Chipper's throw is what brings us to mind, of course, because it's offline. He's made some good throws this year and has gunned out some people at the plate that really surprised me, like one in New York on the recent road trip. But just familiarity, just getting into your routine of a throw. And Chipper's been nursing a sore wrist. That was his, I think it's his left wrist that's bothering him, not his throwing wrist. But I just think it's important for outfielders. You don't have to throw. If you're playing every day, you don't have to take infield every day. But every 2 or 3 days, you need to be out there throwing.
For all the same reasons that a pitcher throws.
Yep, exactly.
Another good stop.
And the count 1-2.
The only difference, there are two differences between an outfielder's throw and a pitcher's throwing. A pitcher throws with a wind-up and closer to a precise area. If you look at the mechanics of an outfielder's throw and then take a pitcher's throw, a pitcher's pitch after the beginning of the windup, they're identical. And there are a lot of pitching coaches who, with over-the-top pitchers, will have them throw like with a hop step to get them in their proper release point.
That's foul past Rusty Kuntz down the first base line.
There have been a number of clubs, and you have to have the mechanics that you throw over the top, like Chipper Jones's throw, 90-degree angle with your upper arm and right up over the top. There have been some ball clubs in the past that would allow their pitchers to take outfield practice and to throw and to stretch it out. Long throwing is done like that a lot in spring training to build up arm strength.
No throw as they try to hold Sanders close.
Well, he was getting a huge lead. Maybe in the background you could hear Pat Corrales yelling, "Pick him off."
Sanders 6 for 7 in stolen bases, 2 out, 2 in. An easy third inning and an easy second inning for Ortiz, but trouble here in the fourth. Breaking ball fouled back, and Wilson's hanging tough. The outfield, including Andruw Jones, shading Wilson a little toward right. He's still alive.
That's that fastball upstairs that he had to start his bat if he was going to catch up to it, but a little out of the strike zone, then couldn't get the bat out of the way. I think he had 34 pitches after 3 innings, didn't he? Did Ortiz.
Yeah, it's been a long inning for him pitch-wise. And a good curveball, but that one missed 2-2. Good battle here. Wilson trying to get a 3rd run across for the Pirates.
Good battle by a guy who strikes out 1 out of every 5-6 times up, too.
And he is making Ortiz work overtime. He was 1 for 4 last night, had a hit and scored a run in that 6-run 5th inning. And Javi Lopez out to tell Russ Ortiz, I've run out of ideas. What
That's
do you
exactly
think?
what it is. Hey, I don't know. I'm tired of starting this and getting nothing. What do you want to do? All right. Worked better than what we tried to last for. You know, another reason for doing this, I think when a guy fouls away a few pitches, I don't think you want to go out, stand out there and shake off 3 or 4 pitches. Now, you know what you want to do. One sign, bring it. You can stay in rhythm. But normally when you shake off a lot of pitches, if you're trying to trick a guy, you're going to put something in the back of his mind. They go right to the first sign here.
Let's see what they do. Miss Lowe, is that a sinker?
Change. It looked like a changeup, and it's the first one he's thrown in this at bat.
So now the count full. Maybe they thought about a setup pitch for what they wanted to get the out on, which would be this one.
Back to back.
Missed with it. So runners at first and second with 2 out. Let's send it to Aaron Andrews at TBS Sports Control for an update.
Joe, back-to-back jacks in San Juan off of Tomooka in the top of the 4th. Carl Everett with his 16th of the season. And then Puerto Rico native Juan Gonzalez gets his 18th on the year. And the fans really enjoyed that one. They gave Igor a standing O. Rangers leading the Expos 2-1. Oka has now allowed 15 home runs this season. Only Ben Sheets has allowed more in the majors, guys.
That'll happen, though, pitching in that ballpark, Aaron.
When the Braves were down there, the wind was blowing in. It was damp. It never hadn't really heated up, but that is that all indications a launching pad with warm weather.
1-0 to Abraham Nunez. And Ortiz mad at himself on that delivery. Comes off the mound. 2-0. All this started on that comebacker that he didn't handle. Went off his glove off the bat of Brian Giles. And it's led to 2 runs and trouble for Ortiz. A long inning for him. 2-1. Nunez steps out. He's been on a pretty good run of late. 6 for his last 21. That should get Ortiz out of the inning. Giles gets Nunez, and that'll do it for the Pirate rally in the 4th, but they take the lead. 2 runs on 3 hits. They leave 2. And we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. 2-0 Pirates. Gary Sheffield leads off for the Braves. Takes a strike. Sheffield popped up his first time up. Has a modest 5-game hitting streak working, but some damage over that stretch. 9 hits in those 5 games, 3 homers. You were talking earlier, Don, about it not taking long to get loose in this type weather. Didn't seem like Josh Fogg, even after that long top half of the 4th inning, didn't seem like he threw that many pitches to get loose for this inning.
No, I think that's smart, too. adapt yourself. I think that a lot of pitchers think, okay, I have 8 warm-up pitches, that you have to take 8 warm-up pitches. Sometimes 2, 3 will get the job done. 4. Learning to adapt and learning to do what you have to do to work in different kinds of conditions, that's one of the parts of becoming a veteran.
Sheffield went after looked like a slider away from him and slaps it to second. 1 out.
Let's remind the folks of our Aflac trivia question. In 1992 NLCS Game 7, Sid slid. Who was the winning pitcher? Braves and Pirates. Did you remember that it was
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Close. Jeff Reardon.
Intimidator.
That would have been your second guess.
The Terminator, rather.
Terminator. 3 games, a win, a save, and he worked 3 innings in that series, not that game.
Chipper Jones stands in and takes ball 1. He drew a walk his first time up.
Fogg's starting to mix his slider in now.
And they had him played perfectly defensively with shortstop Jack Wilson up the middle. 2 out. And Andruw Jones, the batter, he hit into a fielder's choice his first time. Pirates have an 11-12 record in day games. Atlanta 13-3.
Only 1 outfield putout recorded. That's the kind of results you'll get when Josh Fogg is on. Sinking fastball and the slider.
Some of that from that crossfire delivery he has.
Yeah, causes the ball to come back and in, down and into a right-hander. You know, that used to be such a no-no. Guys were never taught to throw like that. Now it seems that half or more of the young pitchers coming along throw that way. It's going to strain, it's going to stress your shoulder more. Logically, you have to know that because you're throwing over the knee and you have to extend and stretch the back of the shoulder a little bit more. Instead of clearing out the front side and let the upper half of your body follow, you're having to force it over the front knee, the left knee.
Maybe they're signing guys that have done that their whole life and never really noticed it. Maybe they're just not correcting them because that's the way they naturally throw.
Yeah, and nothing wrong with it. Obviously, it works if you've been doing it your whole life. But it does require more effort to throw over a front leg than it does to clear the side out and let the upper half of the body work.
Hitters count here 3-1. Full count 3-2. That's Robert Fick. He is on deck.
See, I think Greg Maddux, right in the middle of his delivery, could decide if he wanted to throw across his body, open up, turn and point toward first, because he's a touchy-feely pitcher, the late fingertip control.
Breaking ball, hard hit down the line, fair. Giles will have to play it out of the corner, and Andruw Jones will have a 2-out double. Extra base hits have come 3 times to the Braves today, but each time it's led to an out at third or home.
We were telling you about his slider. It had gotten really good. Looked like he may have tried to overthrow that for the strikeout. He missed by about 2 feet from where he wanted it. Kendall's mitt was below the strike zone and on the outside corner, and the pitch stayed on the inner half.
10th double of the year for Andruw, and Robert Fick with a chance to put the Braves on the board. Grounded out his first time up. He's hit in 5 straight. 2-0 Pittsburgh. Changeup taken for ball 1.
Pirates are expecting him to pull the ball off of Fogg, and they're closing up the hole on the right side, a form of the shift on against him. See, Fogg looks like he's getting comfortable now. And the reason I say that is because if he misses with a changeup, he backs it up with another one and he's been getting a strike. Miss with a slider, he backs it up with a slider and gets a strike. He doesn't say, oh, heck, I'm missing with this, I got to go to my fastball. Yet he's mixing all his pitches and not afraid to throw 2 in a row.
That changeup popped up. Playable for Ramirez in foul territory, and he's got it. The inning is over. So a 2-out double doesn't hurt Fogg, and we go to the 5th, 2-0 Pirates.
Imagine.
It's a beautiful day at Turner Field. We go to the 5th inning of play, 2-0 Pirates, and the pitcher Josh Fogg leads off for Pittsburgh. Fogg, Lofton, and Kendall due up. Fogg hit a ground ball to the pitcher's first time up. Now to short. 1 out. Today also marks the last day on the job for Jeremy Levin, our associate director, who will be moving over to take control of the product placement area of our broadcast. He'll also be doing some NFL football a little bit later in the summer. So, Jeremy, happy trails to you until you direct again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling. Look at that smile.
He was down with the Golden Knights parachute team. I thought he'd enlisted.
I thought it was like Richard Dreyfuss on Close Encounters. Those guys had those uniforms on. I thought he was just going to get on the plane back to Fort Bragg with them.
Hey, he'd be involved in some product placement there.
Oh, baby. So we'll miss you, Jeremy, and we'll see you again soon.
All the Tri-Lambs will miss you, too.
He's going to miss the Bolero this year, the TBS bowling tournament, road trip tournament.
Couldn't he drop some product off there or something?
I don't know. You may have to come in for that. Lofton 0 for 1 with a walk. Two and 1 the count.
So who's going to count our producer back from break now?
Well, Monica will be in there handling the chores for a while. Oh, right off the mask of Javi Lopez and into the crowd. 2-2.
Lofton is a lot like Furcal in that you expect both of them to just kind of slap the ball around, but both of them have the ability on a pitch that's inside to turn on it. 2 balls and 1 strike. Lofton had one he thought he could yank into the right field corner.
Here's that pitch that pitcher didn't get, and Ortiz almost had his knees buckled. He thought he had the strikeout.
Let's check it out from center field. A whole lot of movement by Javi Lopez's catcher's mitt, wasn't there?
No, there wasn't on that one. Might get the out anyway. Giles handles it. 2 down in the inning. Jason Kendall, the batter, 0 for 2. So back to more Russ Ortiz-like pitching here in the 5th inning. After doing just fine through 3, he ran into problems in the 4th.
That's a good question there. Does Rafael, the way it's phrased is a good question. Does Rafael Furcal have the strongest arm in the game?
In today's game right here, right now?
I'm not sure how that's phrased, but you might have to put Billy Wagner in on that, huh? If you're gonna, are you talking about everyday players?
One to Kendall. Line drive toward the gap. Andruw Jones on the run has it. And a 1-2-3 inning for Russ Ortiz. He needed that. And we go to the bottom of the 5th. Still 2-0 Pittsburgh.
Two to nothing Pirates here. Let's give you a chance to check out some of the scores. And as you're watching them scroll by, remember SI.com is your source for scores and breaking sports news. Going to be a long day at Shea, a double dip. Seattle is pounding the Mets in the first one. Philadelphia, Kevin Millwood has a 2-0 lead against Oakland. They're also playing a doubleheader. And you can check out all the other scores. By the way, there's a rain delay in Toronto. And that's a look at the scoreboard, your first look.
Thank you, Don. Javi Lopez fouls one back. Popped to left his first time up. You were talking about Lofton having a little power leading off, as does Furcal, but I'd say the advantage right now goes to Bob Boone.
Yes.
His leadoff man right now is Adam Dunn with 20 homers.
Is he about 6'5", 250?
At least.
You know, if you watch Bob Boone manage, you're going to see a little of the Gene Mauch influence there. And remember, Gene Mauch for a number of years had Brian Downing leading off for the California Angels, and Downing was a 20 home run, 35 double a year guy.
Sure was.
No steals, but it seemed to start a lot of innings standing on second.
He was a guy that made the move from catching to the outfield, wasn't he?
Yes.
Did a good job out there. Look out. Breaking ball. Almost hit him. 2-1.
Sometimes we overuse the term hard-nosed player, but if you look that up in the dictionary, Brian Downing's picture is pasted right there.
Good off-speed pitch. Had him way out in front. 2-2.
See, he's getting a little frisky now. He's getting confident. He threw back-to-back changeups to Fick. Behind in the count, he's not afraid to go with his other stuff. Established fastball early. Now he's working his other two pitches.
2-2. With another breaking ball, but it's hit well to center. Lofton running out of room. Looks up. It's gone. Javi Lopez has done it again. His 17th of the year, and it's 2-1 Pittsburgh. That one seemed to have some carry to it.
7th home run allowed by Fogg, but for a number of years we've been saying that if you want to throw a breaking ball to Javi Lopez, it cannot be in the strike zone. Especially with 2 strikes. That ball probably outer half, but thigh high to belt high. He just hammers breaking stuff in the strike zone.
That seemed to, as Castilla stands in, ground ball toward the hole at short, cut off by Ramirez. Good play. Good play by Ramirez. 1 out. Watching Lofton go to the wall, though, it was like he couldn't believe he was running out of room. Changed directions a couple of different times. Watch him track this ball.
Yeah, he hit this ball high. There's a little bit of a breeze blowing out to center field. It might have been high enough to cause it to drift just a little. Just barely carries the fit.
And this play by Ramirez might have saved a hit. That was going to be a tough play for Wilson from the hole. Russ Ortiz will hit for himself. Doubled his first time up. And then was thrown out at third on a ground ball to Simon, who has thrown out a runner at third and at home today. Ortiz up to 250. Two and 1. .415 feet, the tail of the tape today on Javi Lopez, who now has 13 homers and 22 RBIs in his last 19 games. In the air down the line, long run for Giles, but he's got it. 2 down. Let's send it to Aaron Andrews for an update.
We're going to update you on that pitching duel in Philly between Mark Mulder and Kevin Millwood. Bottom of the third, Placido Polanco with a single up the middle. Marlon Byrd would score. Phillies lead this one 2-0. Kevin Millwood has allowed 4 hits and struck out 3. And guys, speaking of last days, it's the last day for our studio producer, Steve Becker. He's packing up the family and moving to LA, and we're really going to miss him here.
All right, Aaron, thank you. And thanks to Steve for all of his good work. Rafael for call. Takes a pitch, maybe allowing Ortiz a chance to get back to the dugout. Catches breath. For call has tripled, and he's hit into a fielder's choice. And sends a drive to right himself, and we are tied. There's that power you were talking about in the leadoff spot, Don.
And there's that pitch that they like to do it with. It looked like an off-speed pitch. Low middle end. For call, when he sees that ball down in there, just drops the head of the bat on it. 2 more home runs by the Braves. A career high, and we're only about a third of the way there. This changeup.
It jumped off his bat, too.
Changeup down and in. He missed by a couple of feet where he wanted to locate it.
He centered that one on the sweet spot. His 24th RBI. Marcus Giles, the batter. He sends one down the line, but it'll slice foul. Told you about the Giles family here. Watching Brian and Marcus play. There they are. Mom Monica, Dad Bill, and Sister Cammie. 0-2 to Marcus. Brian had 4 hits last night. Marcus had 2, including a double and an RBI. Today, Brian has a base hit and a walk and a run scored. Marcus 0 for 2. Although he should have an RBI, his ground ball should have gotten for call home in the first, but didn't. 1-2 the count. So we'll start over here. It's 2-2. Good pitch by Fogg. He comes back to strike out Giles. Inning over. 2 runs on the 2 home runs, and we go to the 6th, the 2-2 tie.
To the 6th inning, time for us to check out our Armor All Protected game summary. It's been a game of one shaky inning for each of the pitchers. Ortiz has allowed only 3 hits. He gave up a single to Giles, a double to Ramirez, and a single to Reggie Sanders. That's all the Pirates scoring. And for Fogg, Lopez and Furcal with solo homers. 2-2 as we head to the 6th, and that's our Armor All Protected game summary.
Thank you, Don. And Brian Giles, Aramis Ramirez, and Randall Simon do it for the Pirates in the 6th.
Is that the first time one Giles has finished an inning and the other one has started it?
Might have. Bit of a shift on for Brian Giles with the left side of the Atlanta infield pushed over toward second base. Watched him take some batting practice down on the field today, Don, and it is a very short, compact, powerful swing.
You know, he looks like he doesn't use a real long bat either and chokes up on it. See a little knob down below the hands?
It's a little bit of the Barry Bonds theory. Just swing a barrel. There's no handle on Barry's bat. Right. You know, it's just all barrel, it seems like. Everything gets hit on the barrel.
About an inch up the handle off the knob.
He walked him. His teammates tied up for him, and Ortiz, upset with the call, still staring in at Darrell Cousins. Issues his 4th walk. Ramirez doubled in a run in the 4th inning on a hit and run play. He's also hit into a double play. And the double extended his hitting streak to 20 games. Giles with a very short lead. They may be hitting and running again. Sometimes if you have a hit and run play put on and you're the runner at first, you don't want to draw attention to yourself and draw any throws over, so you just take a short lead.
Well, here's a guy who's making such good contact. You could do it anytime you want to do. What, 1 strikeout in his last 80 plus at bats?
Giles 0 for 1 in stolen bases, and as we talked about earlier, when he kind of coasted home on that RBI double, he did have a pretty serious knee injury in April that knocked him out of the lineup for a few weeks. Not going and fouled back. 1-1.
He's been getting a little heat from his teammates too in this series about they've been telling him we got the wrong Giles here.
I'm sure he's very proud to hear that.
With the fact that just what you were mentioning, that he has been injured, and the fact that Marcus Giles is having such a good year. Seems like a good atmosphere on that ball club over there.
It does. One and two.
I know you were talking to Steve Blass. You did a radio show with him today, and he was talking, and we both agree that they have built themselves a terrific ballpark there. And I was really interested in Blass's assessment. We have to become better evaluators of talent so we can get a product that equals our park.
Yeah, that's very well put, wasn't it?
Yes, I was really impressed with his assessment.
And when you start talking about Pittsburgh as one of these so-called small market teams, he said our ability to evaluate talent and then grow it to the big leagues.
Get it to the big leagues.
Then he said we're not afforded any mistakes.
Yeah, like he used the Yankees and the Braves, some teams that can maybe draft and make a mistake. He said the Pirates cannot afford to make a mistake.
Line to center. A hot shot right over the cap of Russ Ortiz. 2 on, nobody out. Simon the batter. But I think that makes more sense than it does to say, well, if we're going to spend our money on free agents, we've got to spend it wisely.
Yeah.
Well, more so in your draft. And he was not being critical of their scouts or their signings. He was just saying we've got to do a good job on it.
Well, when you look at this ball club, I can see a lot of things to like about this ball club and a lot of good starting points.
A little low, 1-0.
Randall Simon is a good hitter. He's a good guy to have in your batting order. And I like the young pitching that they have for their starters. They have a good closer. There's a big gap between the starting and the closer that needs to be filled in. But there are 4 or 5 guys, everyday players, that you can like a lot.
Out of play.
Jason Kendall is a good ball player. Giles is a terrific ball player. Ramirez is getting better all the time. And then some of the Jack Wilson is a good shortstop and going to be an above average hitter. So there is a group there of good people to start with.
The 1-1 pitch, pulled foul, 1-2. Well, defensively, they can get it done. I'm not sure why they're 11th in the league defensively any more than I can understand why the Braves are where they are defensively with the people they have. But if they can get Pokey Reese back at second base and healthy, that's pretty solid up the middle. Wilson's only made 5 errors at shortstop all year. Hard hit and past Vick. That almost got Ramirez. Giles will score, and the Pirates will retake the lead, and Simon's got a double, and he almost killed 2 people down at first base, Ramirez and Fick.
Well, it was coming out of white shirts. It was raked, and I think that Ramirez may have screened Fick just a little bit. Let's see if he's right in front of Fick. I think he screened Fick just a little bit, and it got by both of them before they knew whether they were a foot of horseback.
One of those rockets by Simon.
That had danger written all over it.
37th RBI for Simon. Time called, and Ortiz wasn't aware that Percal and Fick were coming in.
Fick's trying to get his heart out of his throat right now.
Boy. Nothing scarier than knowing a line drive's coming at you and you can't see it. Reggie Sanders singled in a run his last time up. He's 1 for 2. Bobby Cox on his way to the mound, and with the Braves bullpen busy, this might be the end of the day for Ortiz. We will see. Trey Hodges is in the Atlanta pen. Ortiz very upset about the pitches, the way they were called to Giles, that led to the walk. So that had to be bothering him this inning. And indeed, Atlanta will make a change here. So Russ Ortiz heads to the dugout. Trey Hodges will come on for Atlanta, and we'll be right back.
At TBS Sports Control presented by MasterCard. Last night, Boston's Kevin Millar hit a grand slam. This afternoon, in the top of the third, a 3-run shot off a Glendon Rush. His 9th of the season, 7 RBI for Millar in his last 2 games. And the Red Sox lead the Brewers right now 5-1, top of the 4th. Guys, back out to you.
All right, Aaron, thank you. And the Red Sox got off the deck yesterday. They were behind twice by 6 runs and came back to beat the Brewers last night in a slugfest at Miller Park.
Took him a long way to do it, but they're glad Kevin Millar is not eating sushi right now.
That's truth. There you see Russ Ortiz back in the dugout for Atlanta, and on to pitch for the Braves will be Trey Hodges, who has been red hot. He has pitched shutout ball in his last 10 ball games and has lowered his ERA to the 2nd best ERA on the staff behind John Smoltz. It's now at 1.76. Over those 10 games for Trey Hodges, 13 1/3 innings, only 4 hits allowed. He's walked 6, but he's struck out 16, and that's a lot of strikeouts for him.
Most of them coming on his slider, a pitch that he was talking about the other day that he's getting more and more confidence in, and getting to pitch a lot, getting a better feel for it. It's a sweeping slider. It starts, it's not one of those that the last 6 feet darts away from a right-hander, but he's got to where he's controlling that almost as well as his fastball. Now, with Reggie Sanders coming up there, here's a guy that it's very important that if he's going to throw that slider, he locates it. Remember, Sanders hit the inside fastball off of Ortiz, but the scouting report on him is he has a slider speed bat. That's why you can throw the ball away from him out there. And Trey Hodges probably not with enough giddy up that he can miss with his fastball and not get hurt. The location very important for Trey Hodges.
And he's got first base open here too if he wants to try to get him to chase some bad pitches with Jack Wilson on deck. A run in, runners at 2nd and 3rd. The Pirates back on top 3-2. Slider, swing and a miss.
Perfect spot.
Only a 205 average by opponents against Trey Hodges when there are runners on base. That's the 2nd lowest among Braves pitchers as well. He hasn't inherited many runners this year. He's usually a beginning of the inning guy for Bobby Cox. Only 2 inherited runners all year, and both of them scored. That's just foul 0-2.
The spin on his slider must be really tight because you don't see any right-handers picking it up and hitting it the other way. Most of them swing and miss it. They don't pop it up to 2nd or ground it to 2nd.
I think you're right. Kind of a late break on it. 0-2. Couldn't get him to chase that one in the dirt. 1-2 the count. Braves infielders are in about halfway. If they get something hit to them sharply, they might come home and try to cut off Ramirez. Hodges shakes off 1 sign, shakes off 2, and Sanders will call time.
See, for a guy like Hodges who throws a lot of breaking stuff, shaking off a number maybe to get to the fastball.
No, the slider again, and Sanders got a piece of it. And that took a bite out of Javi Lopez. You know, if I were a catcher and I was hitting the ball like Javi Lopez and then somebody foul one off my hand or my forearm or my wrist that might affect my swing.
Throw the helmet in.
Oh, I'd just take them down.
Pin him?
Yeah.
That caught the back of his hand, didn't it?
I think so. 1-2 the count. Again, Hodges takes too much time, and Sanders backs up.
Got some pitches to play with. If he's going to go with the slider again, no reason to throw it for a strike.
Sinker missed down low, 2-2. He's a good ground ball pitcher. I mean, he's been getting all these strikeouts, which is unusual for him in that he's not a strikeout pitcher. But could be that Bobby Cox brought him in here just to try to keep the ball on the infield somewhere.
Well, that used to be the Kevin Grabowski role, but he struggled a little bit with his control, and more, I think that role has changed to the point where it is Trey Hodges' role. Get a grounder.
Struck him out. Is that a straight change or breaking a curveball?
I don't know. It looked more like a straight change to me. It was something slower than the slider. It was a straight change.
Good pitch.
Good arm speed. He sold it well too, with jerking the head to the side and good arm action.
He's got a lot of that working. That head snapping and body English, but getting the slider instead. Well, they're going to walk Wilson and load him up for Nunez. Set up a double play that might get him out of the inning if they can get a ground ball. Both of the runners on base right now belong to Ortiz.
Watch what Trey Hodges is doing on these pitches. I really like this. Bringing it to the plate. He's not throwing those lollipop ante over tosses. He's making the same delivery with his same mechanics. Good reason for that is what's the most important pitch? The next one he's going to have to make. So he's staying in a rhythm, throwing the ball hard to Walker. Many times you see a guy, well, just kind of shot putted up there. Now you got to go back into your rhythm with this pitch right here. I like that.
And Abraham Nunez steps in. He's 0 for 2 with a couple of groundouts today, and the Braves would love another one. Lopez seems to be the guy that's slowing this down right here. I wonder if he's okay after that foul tip a few minutes ago. Corners are in. Fick and Castilla in on the grass. The middle infielders are back. They would turn 2 at second. Tough one to turn. They get 1. That's all they'll get. It's 4-2. That was an in-betweener. Giles had to go way to his left, and that's the only way that they were going to be able to get to was to make a quick throw back to second, but too fast a runner in Nunez.
Hard to turn 2 anyway, but you got to get an out of this. And if you know you can get an out and maybe have the possibility of 2, that's the place to go. And the wild card in that whole thing is the arm for call. You know, if you can get it to him quickly, you got a 50-50 shot of him throwing somebody out.
But Wilson was on top of him quickly as well. 4-2 Pirates. And Fogg stays in the game to hit for himself. He gave up the lead last inning with a couple of solo homers, but his teammates have come right back and given him a 2-run lead again. He's grounded out twice. 0-2, and that got Javi Lopez.
Well, he's going to go out now and tell Trey Hodges, will you throw that pitch that they swing and miss? The foul tips are beating me up.
I couldn't tell if that got him on the knee or on the foot.
But
it hurt. It did hurt.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that they're fouling the balls off. Looked like it caught him. May have caught him again on the back of the right hand again. That's 2. But if you watch Trey Hodges, his fastball goes down and away from a left-hander, down and in on righties. His slider has some tilt too, so hitters are going to swing over that more than they're going to swing under it. So that's 2 in this inning on the back of the hand.
Don, that's almost you almost want to blame that on Javi though for that one. He didn't have that arm protected at all. He wasn't behind the glove. It wasn't behind his leg. It was really exposed, and boy, that thing looks like it's puffed up on him right above the tape.
Well, 2 shots in there, so that'll do it. Check this out.
Oh goodness.
One on the back of the hand, one on the back of the wrist.
Yeah. So you want to be a catcher.
Quickest way to make it to the big leagues and get punished a lot.
Yeah. Looks like he's going to try to stay in the game. I wonder if he can throw. I think if I were the Pirates, I'd find out right away with the pitcher up there. This is the first one. Watch his, see his arm exposed?
When he reaches for it, he exposes it. That's the one that caught him right above the tape. And this one, those two both were, I bet you they hit him not an inch apart.
Yeah, that second one's the one that he just kind of had it sitting there on his knee. And a called third strike. That'll keep some of the pain away. But 2 more runs for the Pirates, and we go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Pittsburgh on top.
There's never.
And Nissan, and your Nissan dealer.
We go to the bottom half of the 6th inning, and the heart of the order up for Atlanta: Sheffield, Chipper Jones, and Andruw Jones. Braves trailing 4-2. Josh Fogg has given up only 5 hits, 2 of them homers. 1-0. Sheffield today has not gotten the ball out of the infield. That's a first in a while. 1-1.
He's got his timing off with the breaking ball too.
It's a real slow breaking ball. It's not just a 80-mile-an-hour changeup. It's almost like it's in the 70s, and he can't stay back long enough for it.
I think you could throw him that, but I think most people in their right mind are afraid to do it.
Well, he stayed on that one long enough to line it to center. Just reached out and slapped it to center. He's hit in 6 straight.
Let's get to our TBS in the booth question, and it comes today from Mel Drummond in Chicago, Illinois. Mel's question is, who are the best pair of brothers that you ever saw play the game? Boy, that's a tough one. Let me run through a few that we've come up with. The Maddox brothers, the Sherrys, Norm and Larry Sherry, the Bretts, the Alomars, the Boyers, the Perrys, the Necros, but I think I would have to go, the best I ever saw would have been Matty and Philippe Alou. Feel free to disagree.
Jesus, there's 3 of them. Jesus in there too.
What's this last one you wrote here? I can read Boyers.
That's the Alous.
Oh, the Alous. Okay.
Cleet Boyd, Ken Boyer.
Ken and Cleet Boyer would be right there. 2 of the best defensive third basemen to play, and Kenny with a lot of home runs, and Cleet with some home runs. But I think probably Matty and Philippe Alou would be my first choice. Perry brothers won a ton of ball games.
Sure did.
Necro brothers won a ton of ball games.
In the air to right center, but I don't think he got enough of it. Lofton does Sanders. He has it. He does. Sheffield's going to try to advance on the fly ball, and some good hustle by Gary Sheffield. And he's in scoring position on the fly out. 1 away.
Good base running, knowing your speed and knowing the outfielder. He went back immediately when he saw that Lofton could catch the ball. Watch the slide to the inside part away from where the ball was coming. If the ball had been there and Nunez would have tried to tag, he would have only had the right hand to swipe at.
Andruw Jones doubled his last time up. He's 1 for 2 today. Breaking ball hit deep to left center. Lofton on the run. He's running out of room. Andruw Jones is homered, and we're tied again. That's 3 home runs in his last 8 at-bats.
Identical in location and pitch to the one he hit last night. Right at the bottom of the belt, inside half. A breaking ball that ended up not being a good slider or a good curve, but a nice spiral.
Well, look who's at the top of the heap now in Major League home run hitting. 3 today for the Braves, and they've passed the Texas Rangers. effort. Fick gets in the act and lines one into right center, and that'll drop for a hit. He's thinking two, but he'll hold it first with a long single.
Did you see how quickly Fogg got back up there and wanted to throw? A lot of times young pitchers, when the tempo of the game picks up, some home runs, some runs, they'll work their pace of pitching up to that tempo instead of, that's the time to take a lap around to the mound. Cool your jets a little bit, back down, say, hold on a minute, don't be in such a big hurry to get in there and hit. Let's slow things down. I think it's only natural, especially for young pitchers, when the offensive tempo picks up to say, well, okay, I gotta give me the ball. I gotta get out there and do it again.
Spin Williams is the pitching coach for the Pirates. He's out to talk to his young pitcher. He hit for himself when they took the lead, and he stayed in the ball game there in the bottom of the 6th inning. You talked about maybe a gap between their starters and their closer, Mike Williams. Is this an effort to try to get to Williams, get as close to Williams as he can for Lloyd McClendon?
Oh, I think you have to. At least with Josh Fogg, you know what you're getting. It's like, let's make a deal. They put $1,000 in your hand, you know you got that, but you don't know what door 1, 2, and 3 are going to bring. And I think lately for Lloyd McClendon, door 1, 2, and 3 haven't been real good. So you at least try to nurse him and try to have him get you to that guy, or at least get you to within one of him.
Fogg has only thrown 78 pitches and now faces Javi Lopez, who homered leading off the 5th. Let's see if those two foul tips put a crimp in his swing.
He's had a couple of breaking balls hit in this inning. Sometimes young pitchers will go away from it. And I think if you're Javi Lopez, you might look for one on the first pitch.
Outside 1-0.
So he's had the curveball hit, so he started him with a changeup.
You know, I think what you just said applies to Javi at times too. I think in the past he's gotten caught up in the emotion of what's going on in a rally, and sometimes goes up there and swings at a bad first pitch. He didn't there. Check swing on that one though. 1-1.
Good breaking ball there that he completed the delivery on. The one to Andruw Jones didn't complete it.
Andruw Jones with his 16th homer of the year and RBIs 48 and 49. Uh-oh. Gone. 2 days in a row, 2 homers for Javi. Hit him with another foul tip. Wow.
Fogg is getting killed on his curveball, and lately he hasn't been able to make 2 back-to-back good pitches. That pitch, I'll bet you it's almost in the identical spot as the one thrown to Andruw Jones. They want it down and away. No, that was the changeup. Just came back over the inside part. Off speed, though, and in the strike zone to Javi Lopez, you might as well send him a telegram that it's coming.
Fans want a curtain call, and he ought to give it to him. He has been unbelievable.
I feel like for the last month or so, I've been watching the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers, Harvey's Wallbangers. As I remember a number of times, Harvey Keene, there's your curtain call. Harvey Keene would go out to his starting pitcher, and he'd be down 3-4 to nothing, and he'd say, "What's the score, buddy?" And they'd say, "Well, we're down 4 to nothing." He said, "Well, save that run. The way I figured, these guys are down by 5, and that's the way this ball club's been playing." We'll be right back.
Jump for joy with new Odor Eaters Plus. Odor Eaters Plus is the only insole with podiatric arch support plus protection on demand against odor and wetness.
Jump for joy, new Odor Eaters Plus.
How do you keep a car from ending up like this? Try Armor. Armor All Protectant. It does more than clean and shine. It protects.
It's Suzuki Summer Sizzler, and these great deals give you one more reason to get the new bike you've been waiting for. Get up to $400 cash back on select motorcycles. And on approved credit, use your Suzuki credit card for great financing deals, like $25 monthly payments for 9 months, or 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 6 months. There's also great low installment loan APR financing available on all cruisers, sport, and street bikes. These sizzling savings give you one more reason to ride, and the deals won't last long. So get to your Suzuki dealer today.
Well, what Harvey Keene would have said going into the bottom of the 6 is, you mean they've got us 4-2 the way I figure it? They're down by 2, and Andruw Jones got it started. Sheffield with a single, but then Andruw Jones with a hanging breaking ball, long and deep to left field. After a single by Fick, and Javi Lopez with a hanging changeup. Sneaks it inside the foul pole, and just like that, thunder and lightning and a 2-run lead.
Julian Tavares will come on and work for the Pirates. Tavares 0-2 with a 5.63 ERA. He pitched here last night, worked a third of an inning and got a strikeout. Looked sharp doing it. I want you to, if you're at home thinking about Javi Lopez, which we all have been lately, and we talked about him at the beginning of our broadcast and how he has had an unbelievable first couple of months of the season. I'll go back to this number I read to you earlier. He now has hit in his last 19 ball games, his last 19 games dating back to May 10th. Javi Lopez has hit 14 homers and he's driven in 25 runs over a 19-game span. Has he got a brother anywhere? Vinny Castilla 0 for 2. First pitch swinging, grounder to short. It came up and bit Wilson, and he can't handle it. Bad hop. They'll probably score it an error, but that was a bad hop. Came up on him.
And that's what happens when you're a ball club that's struggling and things are unraveling. For Tavares, he gets the pitch he wants, he gets the result that he wants, but a tricky hop that hits something hard in the infield right into the breadbasket. He did all the right things, had his glove down to make the play.
It'll go as an E6, and Trey Hodges will stay in the game to hit for himself and try to bunt the runner over, and takes ball 1.
You ask if Javi Lopez had a brother, he may not, but I bet there are 200,000 or 300,000 people that would adopt him right now.
Yes. Ramirez very close at third as Hodges squares again and takes outside again. 2-0. I guess when it comes to brothers that we were talking about earlier, maybe, and of course Henry and Tommy Aaron, not a bad combo either.
Forgot about them.
But there are 2 brothers in the Baseball Hall of Fame that we of course never saw play, and those are the great Wainer brothers.
Little Poison and Big Poison.
He went after that one.
Paul and Lloyd, right?
Yes.
But the question was phrased that you've seen, and that's why we threw that disclaimer out there.
2-1 to Hodges with Ramirez standing about 45 feet away. Two and 1. Off the plate. That ball bites on the grass, and Ramirez will only have 1 play. That's to Nunez at first. Runner at second in scoring position for Rafael Furcal. Let's send it to Aaron Andrews for an update.
Well, Joey, take you to Busch, where another player is having a pretty good day. Bottom of the first, runner on second for Jim Edmonds, and he launches Jason Johnson's offering to the right field seats. His 14th of the season, but he wasn't done there. Bottom of the third, his second homer on the day, this time a solo shot off of Johnson. Cards lead 4-0. Matt Morris, by the way, going for his 8th win today. Guys, back to you.
How come nobody's talking about the ball being juiced this year?
I was thinking that coming in today. Everybody's been talking so much about cork bats and stuff. All the home runs that are being hit. Suddenly, nobody's talking about that part of it.
A few years ago, that started a federal investigation, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All the home runs.
Furcal homered his last time up. He's also tripled. He's 2 for 3. 1-0. For call, triple leading off the game for Atlanta, then was thrown out at the plate on a grounder to first. Hit into a fielder's choice in the 3rd inning and tied the game up briefly in the 5th with a homer to right. Good slider, 1-1. A 4-run 6th inning. Two 2-run homers, one by ANDRUW Jones and one by Javi Lopez, his 2nd homer of the day. Look out in the dirt, blocked by Kendall, but he recovers. 2-1. Final line on Russ Ortiz, 5 innings plus 3 batters, 5 hits, 4 runs. They were all earned. He walked 4, struck out 2. Josh Fogg, 5 1/3 innings, 9 hits, 6 runs, all earned. Walked 1, struck out 1, and gave up 4 homers. Another good slider, 2-2. For calls, average at .324 with his 2 hits today. Out of play. If Rakal wants to hit for the cycle today, he's got the 2 tough ones out of the way, a triple and a homer. Well, most of the folks who responded to the poll think that Rafael Furcal has the strongest arm in the game. Slider again, chopped to 3rd. Ramirez across the diamond in time, and the inning is over. Big inning for Atlanta. They regain the lead, actually take the lead for the first time today with 2 2-run homers, and we go to the 7th. Well, we go to the 7th inning of play here, Don, and the Pirates will be trying to play catch up for the first time all day. They have not been a real good come from behind ball club this year. They're just 1 in 22 when trailing after 6 innings.
Kenny Lofton will start it for him. Lofton 1 out of 5 yesterday and 0 for 2, only 1 hit in 7 tries, does have a walk. Lofton, Kendall, and Giles. 9 hits for the Braves. 5 for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And Trey Hodges trying to tack some innings on. There's work behind him in the bullpen. Low for ball 1. Josh Fogg out of there. That means the Pirates will continue a streak. Longest current streak in the majors. Games without a complete game by their starter. The last one came June the 16th of last year. That's 153 consecutive games without anybody going the route for Lloyd McClendon. Jimmy Anderson was the last guy to do it. Longest in the majors since Tampa Bay won 194 ball games between early in the year 2001 and in the middle of the season 2002. So Javi Lopez with a little extra protection on the right forearm.
He's putting it in a good place now.
Hiding it?
Yes, he is. He's gone to that Johnny Bench style, which is to place it behind his right hip pocket.
Probably with a little nudge from Pat Corrales when they were in the dugout. There is Patrick. Keep an eye on the right hand now. Where's it going? Up back there again, high and inside, 3-2.
Sometimes I bet you he doesn't even know that it's sitting there. I bet you if he asks him,
behind the mitt.
Yeah, he does not. He's not even aware that it's exposed. He was conscious of it the pitch before and made an effort to put it behind his back, but not 3-2.
Another one fouled away by Lofton. It's still 3-2. That time the hand was hidden. I'm just trying to think what would be natural if you're catching. You guess the old school was to place it right behind the mitt, wasn't it?
Right, make
and
a
then
fist.
Bench came along. Bench was a one-handed catcher, though,
Yeah.
so he got it out of the way. In the air towards center with a little carry on it. Plenty of room for Andrew Jones to gather in out number 1.
I think Johnny Bench was taught that by his father in an effort to save his hands a little bit, the wear and tear that the catchers normally experience.
Let's check out the super card for Jason Kendall, brought to you by Franklin Templeton Investments. He doesn't have a real good day going, and for a hitter of his caliber, 279, 0 for 3, a strikeout, a fly to right, and a fly to center. A strikeout, swinging since the K wasn't backwards. Slider in for a strike. I guess because of the spin, have you noticed that Trey Hodges' slider pops the mitt? It sounds as loud as a lot of guys' fastball. Maybe it's where Javi Lopez catches it. That's hit to center field. That's got some carry on it too, but not enough to get it beyond the fence. 2 in a row tracked down by Andruw Jones. 2 outs here in the 7th inning. And Brian Giles coming on has a perfect day going. A walk, a single, another walk. He scored a couple of the Pirates' runs, 6-4.
You can hear that Giles contingent just below us, rooting for one of them, whichever brother comes up.
To right field, that's going to be another base hit for Giles. He had 4 yesterday. That's his 2nd today. He has reached base all 4 times. And he's reached base 8 of the 9 times.
I think Mom Monica's into this. What do you think? His sister Cammie too. It's been a big weekend. It's only been 2 games because of the rain out, but both brothers have had a good game.
Here's Aramis Ramirez. He continued his hitting streak. Came into this ballgame with a 19-game hitting streak, stretched it to 20 with a double in the 4th inning, added a single in the 6th inning, an RBI and 2 runs scored. It's been Giles and Ramirez crossing the plate for the Pirates. Nobody else has been able to accomplish that. Boy, did he have a good cut at that high slider.
You know what I notice him doing more than anything these 2 games, Don, compared to last year, is his balance. Even with that follow through, his follow through was kind of carrying him across home plate, which would give you the indication that he is centered on the plate. He's waiting longer. He's not pulling off the ball. I think he was too home run oriented before.
Yanks this one foul. 2 balls and 1 strike.
And he proved to Trey Hodges and Javi Lopez that even though I may be falling across the plate a little bit, I can still handle that pitch inside.
Well, you were saying it earlier. If you're strong enough to hit home runs, if you make contact, the home runs are going to come. And I've heard so many power hitters say they very seldom ever hit a home run when they're trying to hit a home run.
Right.
Line shot. Great stop by Furcal, and he gets the force at second. Wow. Good defense. I know there have been home runs in this ball game, but it's good defense putting an end to the Pirates' half of the 7th. 7th inning stretch time. 6-4 Braves.
It shouldn't come as any surprise to you that on the heels of that great play by Rafael Furcal, we have our Allstate Good Hands play of the game. Ramirez with a shot, and boy, he was robbed of a hit here. Good play by Furcal. He gets to his feet quickly and goes the short way for the out to end the inning. And you're in good hands with Allstate and Rafael Furcal on plays like that.
29,869 on their feet during the 7th inning stretch, enjoying what has become a tradition here at Turner Field, Kate Smith's version of God Bless America. And it's been a beautiful summer day here in Atlanta. Here comes Marcus Giles. You know, we could cause a little problem if we wanted to. You know, we could say we had your family on the air, and I think the enthusiasm meter was pegged when your brother was hitting. They were a little less enthusiastic for you.
Yeah, what's that all about?
I don't know if we would want to do that, would we? Not at least not till the bus tomorrow, huh?
Right.
Giles is 0 for 3. Grounded out, and then grounded into a double play and struck out swinging. Still up over 300 at 317. And having himself one heck of a year and getting some attention in the All-Star balloting. We'll keep an eye on him during this at-bat so that we can give him an accurate report. Or at least our version of the truth. Roll toward short, cut off by the third baseman Ramirez. And all is quiet in the family section. Let's check in once again with Aaron Andrews.
Well, Don, the Mariners pounded the Mets 13-1 in Game 1. Now to Game 2, Seattle jumps on New York early. Top of the first, Carlos Guillen doubles to the gap in right center off of Mike Bassett. Ichiro scores. Mariners leading right now 3-0. Jamie Moyer looking to become the major's first 10-game winner. Guys, back out to you.
That's a very good team in Seattle.
Thank you, Aaron. 1 out of 3 for Sheffield. That's high, deep, and foul with plenty of carry, but a little bit out in front of it. Sheffield single scored in the 6th inning. He got all that stuff started. Now with a 6-game hitting streak and 10 out of his last 19. I'm anxious to see Ichiro.
Did you read that note on him in the paper the other day that in games after he's gone hitless, his average is like 460?
So he really kicks it up a notch.
Yeah, he doesn't like to play a game without a hit.
I read a note this morning that he is the only player in baseball anywhere now with only his first name on the back of his uniform.
Yeah, I don't get that. I'm not a big proponent of that.
Well, it's all started apparently over in Japan when I believe it was his manager said that since Sheffield is pumped. This is going to be a little exchange of words maybe. Fastball riding in on Sheffield. He has taken the slow stroll down to first base.
Well, he just missed him with the pitch before, but I think the pitch before was a slider. And that one may have been a slider too, but it was obvious that it was thrown a lot more inside.
Sheffield with nowhere to go.
Yeah, if it got the back of that elbow pad, then probably no harm done, but if it got the rib cage, you know it hurt.
Gary Sheffield plays hard, so if I were Wilson or Nunez and there was a grounder, I would do my best Rudolph Nureyev at second base. Here's Chipper Jones. Nothing to show for his day except a walk. Outside for ball 1.
Come on, Chip.
Beimel and Torres throwing in the Pirates bullpen. There's a look at Chipper Jones' supercard. Braves were unable to advance him any further than first when he got the walk in the first inning. Down and in, 2-0.
Pirates have Randall Simon leading off the 8th. He's probably already thinking about wonder what might happen when I lead off the inning.
He might swing at it though.
Yeah.
Low, and it's 3-0. Pirates years started off a heck of a lot different in the way their streak's going now. They won 5 of their first 6 and were 7-3 at the 10-game mark. Line drive, base hit, right field. Green light, 3-0, and Chipper Jones joins the hit parade.
I want to show you this pitch sequence to Gary Sheffield. This was the pitch that he lined into the bullpen, a fastball up and in. Slider away. Then one inside that nailed him. There's been another one just prior to the one he hit foul that was up and in as well that he dodged but couldn't get out of the way of that one.
You know, I agree with you watching that, though. That could have been a slider. Look, he cut under it. Runners at first and second with 1 out for Andruw Jones, who is a double and a homer and 2 RBIs. He has jumped on everything hanging in the middle of the plate. Jumps on this fastball in the air to right field. Sanders is under it. No tag by Sheffield, and there's out number 2. And here's Robert Fick. Fick continued his hitting streak, came in with a modest 5-game hitting streak. 6 out of 17, has added 1 for 3 to it, making it 7 for 20 and a .350 batting average during the stretch. 6 runs and 10 hits for the Braves. His super card. You like it if it's you to see color on that. That means you've scored a run. Lloyd McClendon coming out. As we told you, Beimel was throwing. Remember last night, McClendon used 3 pitchers for 3 consecutive hitters, and it looks like that's going to be the end of the day. It is for Tavares. But once again, the bullpen getting work. A left-hander on the way for Lloyd McClendon.
Series is going to be a dandy on TBS. It'll feature the Atlanta Braves and the Oakland A's. Log on to tbssuperstation.com and answer a question about the series for your chance to win great prizes, including a Philips TV. One footnote, Don, to that plunking of Gary Sheffield. Last year, Julian Tavares hit 2 hitters all year. One of them, or 2 Braves, I should say, last year, and one of them was Gary Sheffield.
And I'm sure Gary Sheffield remembers that. He's out at second. Here's a look at Tavares. He's been replaced by left-hander Joe Beimel, 26 years old, Pennsylvania native, 2 years in the big leagues. Beimel, this is his 28th appearance. A good record across the boards and averaging almost a strikeout an inning. Got out the only hitter that he faced. This continues a pretty good trend for him against the Atlanta Braves. They've seen him in 3 ball games. He's worked 6 innings with only allowing them 2 runs in his career. Last year was in 53 ball games for the Pirates. And he will face Julio Franco. He is not going to face Robert Fick. So Franco came on the pinch hit last night and ended up striking out on 3 pitches. That came against Scott Sarbeck. 1-1.
Julio Franco's been coming in as a late inning defensive replacement at first base. So if you're going to use him late in the game defensively, you might as well take advantage of an opportunity to pinch hit him too.
Right-hander against the left-hander. An 18th round pick in 1998 was Beimel. Footnote to his being drafted. Upstairs 2-1. He is out of Duquesne University. He is the first player ever taken by the Pirates out of that local school. I think of Duquesne, I think of days in the 50s and 60s when they were such a basketball power. Roll toward third and foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
A lot of good schools in and around Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh has become one of my favorite road cities to visit.
Me too.
It used to be you hated to go there because of all the soot and smoke and dirt. But now when you look out there, it's like looking at a little Manhattan sitting there on the point where the trio of rivers, where 2 rivers merge to make one. Swing and a miss, and Franco is out of there. Braves are turned away. A little excitement with Gary Sheffield getting hit. And at the end of 7, still the lead is 2, 6-4.
Only law in this town.
The guy once told me this is a free country. I'm free to go.
Is every man for himself. Bruce Willis.
Might be a good time for you guys to give up.
Christopher Walken. Last man standing. Next on TBS Superstation.
Not too close. What do you think? I got that insurance?
What insurance is that, Yogi?
Aflac. The one you really need to have. If you don't have it, that's why you need it.
Need what?
Aflac. Well, if you get hurt and miss work, it won't hurt to miss work. And they give you cash, which is just as good as money.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Have you ever driven stick before?
No.
Okay. Let the clutch out real slow and give it a little gas. Good. All right, the next intersection, hang a left. Turn left up here. Okay, now left. Left at the next block.
Team owner Michael Andretti and 6 Honda drivers are competing in the Indy Racing League.
Left right here. Go left on Elm. Hang a left.
Do you think I can make a right?
Why would you want to do that?
It's going to take some getting used to.
And there's more efficient use of space.
Great. Just talked to the guy at Office Depot. Everything's going to be fine.
Terrific. Focus on furniture at Office Depot and save. Get $50 off any furniture purchase of $2.99 or more. Office Depot. What you need to know.
Aaron Andrews at CBS Sports Control, presented by MasterCard. Let's take you back to San Juan. Bottom of the 8th, Brad Wilkerson with his second RBI double of the game. A-Rod out of the starting lineup for the second straight day due to a bruised left knee. He struck out pinch hitting to end the game. Montreal wins this one 3-2, sweeps the Rangers. Don and Joe, Texas. They've lost 9 straight.
Wow.
Yankees.
And are they through with a road trip, or do they have one other? No, this is their last stop, finally. A long road trip for the Rangers. Defensive changes. Julio Franco's going to stay in. He's at first base. Henry Blanco will replace Javi Lopez. I'm sure he's in getting ice on the back of that hand. And the third pitcher of the day will be Roberto Hernandez. Hernandez worked an inning last night, and a good one, and he needed that. A walk and a strikeout to show for one inning work. There are his totals across the board. Strikeouts and walks equal, and that's been the bug that has bitten him recently, is the walks. Randall Simon to start it. First pitch swinging, out of play for strike one. Simon is grounded to short, struck out swinging on a Capbell high fastball, and then doubled down the right field line. His average at 283. A double for Simon, his 11th of the year. That's in the alley toward left center, but there's the man. On the run is Andruw Jones, and he gathers it in for out number 1.
This crowd has been treated this entire homestand as some great baseball by the Atlanta Braves. A lot of home runs. They've won every game. They're leading today, and some great defense. And another good play this time by Andruw Jones.
And he got a salute from Marcus Giles and Rafael Furcal on that catch, the little raise of the glove. And I'm sure he got a thank you from Roberto Hernandez. And here's Reggie Sanders. Sanders 1 for 3 with an RBI. The one hit was a single.
I want to bring up something here that I remember you telling me some time ago that you were told by John Roseboro, the old catcher for the Dodgers, about getting some revenge.
Right. To right field. Sheffield a long run. He's not going to get it. Up off the wall. And Reggie Sanders takes one the other way for a double. For Sanders, that's his 8th. Go ahead.
Just that people at home might be wondering, why didn't Roberto Hernandez hit Randall Simon? I mean, Sheffield, it was apparent that Tavares definitely wanted to pitch him inside and plunked him, and the Braves have had some home runs in this series, needless to say. So why didn't he go ahead and hit Simon? Well, it's a 2-run lead, but Roseboro gave you some good advice.
Great advice. It was my first year, and somebody had been throwing at John, and we're sitting in a dugout, and I said, you want me to get the first guy? And he just took his hand, and like you would have like a piece of paper, took his other hand and wrote in it, folded it up, stuck it in his back pocket. He said, file it away, our day will come. And he said, we may be the only two that know that we're doing it. But he said, just file it away. Never jeopardize the game, he said, but never forget also. Sanders at second. Here's Jack Wilson. 0 for 1 with a pair of walks. Inside, 2-0.
And this is a prime example here. You never know how it might have played out. But let's say Hernandez had plunked Simon just to make things even, and Sanders follows with the double and drives him in. Now you've got a 1-run ball game
with a tying run 180 feet away. Strike it. It's 2-1. There are codes. Ray King loosening up. You have to protect your players if you are convinced that a deliberate attempt has been made to hurt your players. 2-2. But I think some players we've seen get caught up in the emotion of the moment and lose track occasionally of what the big picture is. And the big picture is to win ball games. You can always get even. You can't always win a ball game.
Right.
Off the end of the bat, a long run for Sheffield, and it'll drop out of his reach into the stands, and it stays at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Breeze has picked up a little bit here at Turner Field. The 2 places that it might be affected, where it might affect the ball, would be in the gap in left center field, and anything going out to right field. Up in the air, a little carry on it, might have affected Sanders' ball just a little bit. Off the fist, tough play, but it kicks foul.
I think last night's outing for Hernandez a good sign for him. I'm sure a boost of confidence for what Bobby Cox has seen from Hernandez lately, just that maybe he's coming back a little bit. And they're walking a strikeout in an inning, but he just generally was around the plate last night and throwing the ball better. There's an interesting shot of Bobby Cox because you don't see the Braves with big 3-ring binders laying out on the dugout chair.
Another foul ball.
Or up on the lip of the dugout. They don't have big books that they pull out, but he definitely has his little list that he keeps in his pocket. Might have to do with some matchups or what maybe the Pirates hitters are doing against lefty or right-handed hitting. That's all he needs.
He makes notes on the lineup cards too. They'll check, but he didn't go around. It's a full count. 6-4.
Got to make this guy put it in play, don't you, in a 2-run ball game?
Yes, you do.
Don't want to walk him.
And he did walk him. So now the possible tying runs are on for Hernandez, his 25th walk of the year. He will face Nunez. 1 out. Pitcher spot up next. And we will see who they bring out of the dugout and into the on-deck circle. Nunez is grounded to second, and grounded to second. A trifecta. The last grounder, the force was made at second. Strike 1 on the outside corner.
Craig Wilson, Don, has come out on deck. Good pinch hit.
Number 2 catcher for the Pirates. Outside. Good velocity from Hernandez in the upper 90s. Pirates, there are a number of things that they've struggled with this year, but seeing Craig Wilson out on deck reminds me. One of them has been pinch hitting. Only 16 hits delivered by their bench. Check out the last pitch.
Fans are upset with Darrell Cousins, but the fact remains Hernandez has been all around the place, but not throwing many strikes. And we go back to what we said at the beginning of the broadcast. He's not a pitcher's umpire.
Line drive, base hit. That will score Sanders. It will also get Wilson around to third. They're at the corners, a 1-run ball game. 6-5 the score. Second RBI of the day for Nunez.
Good play by Chipper Jones to keep the double play in order here, as Nunez shows you some good hitting going with the pitch. And Chipper Jones spinning around and getting that ball back in quickly to hold Nunez at first.
And the announcement just being made of Craig Wilson coming on. 232 the batting average. He's 1 for 10 as a pinch hitter. only guy with really any success has been Young. Young is 3 for 7. Here comes Bobby Cox. And it looks like it may be, I'm not sure who's going to come in, but I'll tell you what, why don't we take a timeout and we'll figure it all out when we get back. Battle for the Atlanta Braves. They lead at 6-5, but runners are at the corners, and one more trip to the bullpen. Roberto Hernandez is out. Kevin Grabowski is coming on. For Grabowski, it'll be his, I believe, his 30th appearance of the year. 4-3, an earned run average that's high. He's worked 21 innings, 16 strikeouts and 10 walks, and what they want out of him is what he's done a lot this year, ground ball Grabowski. He worked yesterday, worked an inning and a third, and did a good job.
Told you about that road trip that's coming up, and the Braves will be taking on the Oakland A's Tuesday night. We'll have that game for you here on the Superstation at 10 o'clock Eastern time. Good matchup, Maddox against Tim Hudson. Back with you on Thursday. That's a day game. That's a 3:30 Eastern start. And that'll be Shane Reynolds against Barry Zito, that fabulous left-hander who won the Cy Young in the American League last year. Then on to Seattle, and we'll have the first game of that series for you from Safeco Field. Our first look at that retractable roof stadium. I'm anxious to see it.
I'm anxious to see both of those places having spent some time with the Oakland A's. I guess you could say if you're the Braves, you caught a break. You missed Mulder.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not too many breaks in that Oakland staff.
Wilson has got to stay on to face Kevin Grabowski. Nobody else coming out of the Braves bullpen has faced as many situations where there are runners inherited as has Grabowski. 28 runners inherited. He's only allowed 6 of them to score. Next closest is Ray King. First batters are 9 out of 26 against him. Wilson, as we told you, 1 out of 10 is a pinch hitter. And Grabowski wants a ground ball here. Inside, he didn't even move, didn't even flinch at that ball.
No, he didn't.
1-0. That ball looked like it just missed his belt buckle.
Well, he's got catcher speed. He's hit in a couple of double plays already this year, and just got to get it close enough for him to offer if you can throw that good hard sinker that Grabowski has.
Upstairs to get strike 1.
That's a dangerous place to be, though.
With a sinker.
Yeah, and with the lead on the line, a runner at third, fly ball will tie it up.
That's Jack Wilson at third. Anything in the outfield should get him home. Infield up about a step. They're looking to turn 2 up the middle. Nunez with better than average speed, though he hasn't tried to steal a lot of bases. Only 3 attempts. He's been successful twice. Swings over the top of the sinker.
Good pitch.
1-2.
That's a hard pitch to even put in play and keep it fair, let alone hit it with any authority.
What does it feel like when you hit it?
Well, it feels like you got to swing the bat and almost hit yourself in the foot in order to connect. You don't want to do that.
Coming back in there. Too low. Good stop by Henry Blanco. The only thing bad about that, he did keep the run from scoring, but he couldn't stop Nunez from making it to second.
Hard sinker down and in. Got Blanco a couple of places. Glove, leg, just didn't stop in front of him.
A wild pitch, and now no longer a double play situation. Downstairs, full count.
The way the Braves are swinging the bat, Bobby Cox is willing to concede a run here for an out because he wants to try to avoid the go-ahead run scoring. But the way Atlanta is scoring runs, he feels confident that even if the Pirates tie it, the Braves are still in good shape here, barring a big inning.
Payoff pitch to Wilson. And he walked it. Bases loaded. Bases loaded for Kenny Lofton. And will not face Grabowski. He is going to face the left-hander, and that will probably be Ray King. So a short day's work for Kevin Grabowski. He only faces the one hitter and can't get the ground ball, so he is out of there. And once again, Bobby Cox dialing up the bullpen. 6-5 ball game, but the Pirates are threatening. Wilson at third, Nunez at second, Wilson at first. Bookend Wilson's and the game on the line.
Aaron Andrews at TBS Sports Control, presented by MasterCard. Let's take you back out to the vet. Phillies looking for some insurance, and Pat Burrell giving it to them. Bottom of the seventh, a 3-run blast off of Michael New, his 11th of the season. Phillies go on to win this one 7-1. Kevin Millwood goes to 8-3. Mark Mulder takes the loss. Guys, back out to you.
Where this game is on the line, too. Pirates down by 1, but they've loaded the bases. Got 1 run across, a walk, a single, and a walk, and Ray King will take over. King worked in last night's ball game, 2/3 of an inning, a couple of hits. He inherited 3 runners, but they all scored. Today's game is the 4th he's worked in this homestand.
Last night he
35th appearance.
Sorry, Don. Last night, remember, he got himself in trouble too when he didn't cover first on a grounder over to that side of the infield.
He'll face Kenny Lofton. Tough guy to double up here. Lofton at 308, 245 of that batting average coming when he faces left-handed pitching. This is his 50th at bat against a left-hander. Look at his super card. 0 for 3, a walk to show for his day's work. Infield shortens a little. In for strike 1 at the knees. Good start for Ray King.
Yeah, the corners have come in. Looks like Franco and Castillo will come home on a ground ball to them, but Atlanta's still looking for 2 up the middle if it's hit to one of the middle infielders.
Jam shot will get strike 2. Lofton has been very productive for the Pirates this year in these kind of situations. Runners in scoring position, hitting over 300. Fights one off. That was in on the thumbnails.
Yeah, it was. And obviously an obvious situation for him where he's got to be a little defensive behind 0-2. And just fought that one off. He'll wait to the last second to pull the trigger on a swing too.
Good lead at third with King being a left-hander. That's high with a slider. 1-2. Rule of thumb for Wilson at third, he can go as far away from the bag as Vinny Castilla is because King has his back to it, and he's getting a good size lead and heading down the line toward the plate. Outside, count evens at 2-2.
Crowd getting a little nervous here in Atlanta with these last 2 pitches, but I don't think they've been bad pitches in terms of location at all. King's ahead in the count. He's trying to get Lofton to chase his pitch.
Trying to get the strikeout.
Yeah.
He'd like to get something going on this pitch. Lofton, the 6th hitter in the inning for the Pirates. Right at for call. There's the double play. Not exactly the way they have planned on turning it. So Lofton hits it on the button, gets nothing to show, but the Pirates make it closer. They pick up 1. Braves turn bottom of the 8th, 6-5.
Clean. There's our score here at Turner Field. Let's take a look at the Office Depot scoreboard for scores around baseball. How about some home runs today? Kevin Millar's hit 2 more for Boston. They lead Milwaukee 9-1. Edmonds has hit 2, but Baltimore has taken a 7-6 lead over St. Louis. And Everett and Gonzalez, as we told you, homered for Texas. They lost, however, to Montreal 3-2. Michael Barrett had a home run in that one. Shop MLB.com. It's got the widest selection of items for the team you love.
Solomon Torres is going to come on the pitch. Talking about home runs, 4 in this ball game by the Braves, 2 in this spot in the batting order, but that was Javi Lopez. Henry Blanco with his first turn up today. 0-2 to Blanco very quickly. John Smoltz throwing in the Braves bullpen. Blanco at 215. Got to play a few games in a row, and with every day his swing got better and better. But then we saw that from him last year when he got to play a little bit more.
Yep.
The 1-2 pitch. Curveball looped into center field. Lofton will play it on a hop. A base hit for Blanco. So the 7th spot in the batting order doing some damage today. It's 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs scored. And here's Vinny Castilla. Matt Franco out on deck. Castilla has popped to second, grounded to third, and hit a grounder to short that Jack Wilson unable to come up with. That's in the air to right field. And out number 1. Let's go to Aaron Andrews at TBS Sports Control. Aaron.
Okay, Don, we're going to check back up on the action at Busch. Top of the 5th, runner on first for Davy Cruz, and there's a blast to left off of Matt Morris, his 8th of the season. That would make it 7-4, but the Cards have come back to cut the O's lead to 1 run. Guys, back out to you.
It's funny seeing Matt Morris giving up home runs to shortstops, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Here comes Lloyd McClendon after the announcement of Matt Franco. McClendon maybe going to the bullpen because usually Lloyd doesn't make social calls, and he's very quickly out. So Torres' day at the office will be a short one, and it may also mean that Matt Franco's day up there may be a short one. We're keeping an eye on the bullpen, and there is a new Pirates pitcher. So Lloyd McClendon, as he did last night, using about everybody down there. We'll fill in some blanks with you on Sauerbeck as soon as we get back.
Fans, it's the drama of NASCAR on TNT, and it all begins on July 3rd. For complete schedule information, log on to NASCAR.com.
Fifth pitcher of the day will be Scott Sauerbeck for the Pirates. He struck out the only hitter he faced last night. Came on similar situation, and Bobby Cox went to Julio Franco. There's a look at the left-hander. Leads the club now with 34 appearances. Last year he worked 78 for him. He's only allowed 2 earned runs in his last 16 ball games. Blanco at first, 1 out, and Bobby Cox is going to make a switch. He will send up Mark DeRosa to bat in place of Matt Franco. Franco had a stretch going, what was it, a week or so ago, where I think he got announced 3 times and never got to home plate.
He pinch hit and got pinch hit 4 quicker than anybody.
DeRosa brings a .240 batting average to the plate, 2 for 12 as a pinch hitter. 4 home runs. Late on the fastball. Remember that pinch hit home run he hit? He has 1 pinch hit home run. He has 4 RBIs. He reversed a 99-mile-an-hour fastball off Wagner in Houston. It may not be on the ground yet.
It's the truth.
Big sweeping breaking ball. 1-1. That's what Sauerbeck got Julio Franco on last night. Big old bender that just kept biting and biting, and 3 different times Franco right over the top of it.
I like their lefties. The only 2 lefties they have on their staff are Beimel and Sauerbeck, both out of the bullpen.
Down and in, 2-1.
And I know Sauerbeck's 0-4, but he has a very respectable 3.7 ERA. And Beimel a 3 ERA. I think he's kind of more of a 1 or 2 batter guy, but they've got to get some help from guys like Tavares, Torres, Brian Meadows. Those guys have got to start stepping it up a little bit. Bowringer. And
Bowringer toting around an ERA in the 9s. Sauerbeck's name over the winter seemed to pop up over and over in trade rumors. But if you're a left-hander that can get anybody out of the bullpen, your name's going to pop up a lot.
And he gives you a different arm angle too, just a little different look than your basic over-the-top guy.
Way inside, 3 in a row in off the plate, and it's 3-1. Talking about his earned run average being respectable this year, spectacular last year, a .230 earned run average. 70 strikeouts in 62 innings for him, and he's averaged better than a strikeout an inning for his career in the big leagues. Not this time, a base hit. And they're at first and second, back to the top of the batting order. And Furcal will get his first swing in a right-handed batter's box.
You're not going to get many strikeouts when the count is 3-1. No. At least I've never seen one before. But you are going to give up some hard-hit balls, and DeRosa was all over that 3-1 count.
Furcal has faced Sauerbeck twice. One thing having Furcal up here does is it's going to make it awfully difficult for the Pirates to turn a double play. He's the speediest guy in the Braves lineup. Pirates will shorten up a little bit. A look at his super card. A home run in the 5th inning. Shows bunt, takes a strike.
Come on, kid, come on.
If you're looking for another reason to think it's going to be difficult to double him up, he hasn't grounded into a double play in 253 at-bats. That's the best mark in the big leagues. That's no, nada, none.
Come on, Rafi, come on.
By the way, he said 4 at-bats today, so bring it up to 257.
Right.
But he's in a hole, 0-2. Right down there with that good big sweeping breaking ball. Joe, that's got to be a hard pitch to not give up on.
I'm sure that that's what happened to Furcal here. He was kind of watching that thing come from around where Abraham Nunez was positioned out at second base, figuring there's no way it's going to come back. But he gave up on it and was already headed to the dugout. He knew it.
Didn't even wait for the call. He's out number 2, and now here we go. And Scott Sauerbeck can't believe it. He just struck out a right-handed hitter. And now here comes Lloyd McClendon.
He's got his closer down there, and he may be thinking about bringing him in just to try to make sure this is a 1-run lead going into the 9th for Atlanta.
Well, Sauerbeck faces 2, strikes out 1. He'll depart. We'll check out the new Pirate pitcher right after this. Well, we were thinking maybe he was going to go to his closer, Mike Williams, but it's not. It's Brian Boehringer. He was touched up last night, was Boehringer, suffered the loss, allowed 2 runs in the 8th inning. I know this is the only reason to do this is to go by the book.
Oh, I'm trying to figure it out.
Right-hander against right-hander. You just had Sauerbeck strike out a right-handed hitter, and now he's going to bring on Boehringer. Boehringer, they're hitting .322 against him. Sauerbeck, they're hitting .180 against him, and I know he has to face some right-handers, so this is a head-scratcher, except to go righty against righty.
That's the only reason I can come up with that this might be why you would make this change, given the way Sauerbeck can hit that backdoor corner with his breaking ball.
Giles is 2 for 3 against the big right-hander.
Right-handers are hitting .170 against Sauerbeck for the year. They're hitting .333 with 4 homers against Boehringer.
I don't know who they are, and I've never read the book. Outside for ball 1.
It might work out just fine, but it is a curious move to me.
Blanco at second. DeRosa at first. There's ball 2 outside. Boehringer. Let's check out his 1-loss record. He is 3-2, but he has an earned run average of 914. 914. He's allowed 22 earned runs in 21 2/3 inning. 3-0.
Turn him loose here?
No, I wouldn't. I would work to try to get Gary Sheffield up there against him.
Good call. He was taking.
And there's strike one. I think if you're Giles, you pick out a little bitty spot about the size of a loaf of bread, and if it's in it, hammer it, and if it's not, take this one. It was there, and he fouls it back. Full count, 3-2. This is an advantage if you want to pick up another run for the Braves, because you have Henry Blanco at second. Now with the count 3-2, Blanco gets a little bit of a running jump. Might be the difference on a play at the plate if there's a base hit. Payoff pitch. Walked it. Bases loaded. And here comes Gary Sheffield. Sheffield is 2 for 6 against Boehringer with a home run. Now his best fastball is one that tails back into right-handers and sometimes goes down and in to right-handers, which is no man's land. He's allowed 6 home runs in 21 innings.
He did strike him out last night.
Outside for ball 1.
But you just can't pitch behind in the count to the Atlanta hitters the way they're going right now.
Whoa, got away with one.
Hanging slider right in his danger zone, and Sheffield missed it.
Our broadcast partner Pete Van Weeren calls that a thief in a laundromat. He got away with a hanger. 1-2. Ball at 2 strikes. He's had 2 pitches up to Sheffield that had people in left field cringing. Bases loaded. Like you said before, it may all work out, but it's a head scratcher here. Back up the middle. It's all going to work out. Braves are turned away in the bottom of the 8th inning. John Smoltz coming on will face Kendall, Giles, and Ramirez. A 1-run lead.
Your memories are priceless. So why not preserve them on a format that can stand the test of time? Recordable DVD by Philips. Simple to use, easy to enjoy. Some memories were meant to last. Preserve them with a Philips DVD recorder.
Philips has an offer that will leave you shaken and stirred. Get every detail on up to 8 Bond DVDs, including Die Another Day. Own it now on DVD, free with the purchase of any Philips DVD player. Or choose any of these Philips products and get 4 DVDs. Or these products and get all 8 and a portable DVD player. A $400 value free.
I think I got the thrust of it.
Offer available now at Best Buy and other participants.
Well, there's the 1-run lead. It's the top of the 9th inning, and the Braves will turn this one over to their premier closer, John Smoltz. Smoltz, no one-loss record, an earned run average of 0.81, 23 saves, 43 strikeouts, and 4 walks in 33 innings. Yes, that is not a typographical error. And he's going to have to do some work. He's going to have to get out Kendall, Giles, and Ramirez.
Not the way he started last night? I was thinking it was, but no. He had to go top of the order last night.
He get Lofton to start it last night. But he did face these 3 guys. Kendall has struck out, flied out 3 times, once to right, twice to center. For you folks who are in the southeast area, here's the first pitch to Kendall. Line to right center field. Guess who's over there? Andruw Jones. And he grabbed it. Good defensive positioning and a trifecta for Andruw tonight. 3 times today he's caught fly balls off the bat of Jason Kendall. 1 pitch, 1 out. You folks are in the Southeast who have access to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. A terrific article written today on John Smoltz, written by Steve Hummer, one of the fine writers for the AJC, talking about the grand entrance that closers make. And John's personality not quite like that. Here's Giles. And did he go? Did not. Ball one. Talking about the difference in being a starter and being a closer, and the momentum and the rush that comes with being a closer. And there are so many problems that you have to think about when you're the closer, like what's your theme song going to be when you come in? 2-0. Well, I guess, what is it, Hell's Bells for Trevor Hoffman?
Yep.
John Smoltz, originally when he came in, they were doing ABBA's Dancing Queen, and that didn't set too well with
No,
him.
that wasn't a good one. That was not his selection.
3-0. So I think they've decided, there was a committee in the bullpen decided on the AC/DC song Thunderstruck. But they're also talking about switching to the Imperial March from Star Wars. Here's the 3-0 to Giles. Ball forward, he walked it. He represents, that's only the 5th walk all year by John Smoltz. Giles represents the possible tying run, and here's Aramis Ramirez. Good day going for Ramirez. He's grounded out twice and got a couple of hits. Now he's a 20-game hitting streak, a single, a double, 2 runs scored, and an RBI.
He was very aggressive against Smoltz last night, flied out to deep right to end the ball game, but went after one of the first 2 offerings from Smoltz. Very aggressive.
Stop. Let's see how he plays it here. Short lead by Giles. He looked like he was ready to unload, but the slider was wide for ball 1. The Pirates refusing to go quietly. Big swing, nothing to show for it. 97 on the radar gun. 1-1.
Ramirez late on that one.
Front side fly open a little?
Not really, not too much. He still has that tilt working over the plate. He's trying to stay centered there. He just got started late on that one.
Upstairs, 2-1. The opposition only hitting in the neighborhood of 200 against the Braves closer. Late again. 97 again. 2-2.
Those were 2 good pitches that he threw by Ramirez on the swings, and they weren't really on the corners. I mean, he just went right after him.
Slider now, or one more time with the heater?
Slider's good.
And he got him with another fastball. 97 miles an hour, 3 times on the outer part. Smoltz needs 1 more out. He's got to face Randall Simon.
First 2 may have been hittable. This one wasn't. This was off the plate. No way. No way he could reach that, but he had to guard the plate, and Ramirez sent down
on that
cutter on that 97 mile an hour job.
Simon has faced his former teammate once. He's 0 for 1. Don't look for him to be taking on anything. Back to the screen for strike 1. And he held the bat out there like, I had it and I missed it, and I may not get it again.
He had a couple of opportunities earlier today against Russ Ortiz. He struck out on a high fastball, which is usually something he hammers.
The splitter makes it 0-2, so the Pirates are down to 1 strike. And the crowd of 29,869, the ones who are Braves loyalists, on their feet. Looped into right field. Giles is going to make the turn and head to third. The throw comes into second. Simon comes through. Smoltz is still going to have to get 1 more out, and they're at the corners.
Good piece of hitting here by Randall Simon. This pitch looked down. I don't know if it was a splitter or not. Yeah, and he just went down and golfed it. One-handed swing for the most part, and he hit it with some authority. How he got under it, I don't know.
Well, we've talked a number of times about going to be a pinch runner come on for Randall Simon. That is going to be Jeff Rebele. We've talked a number of times about some pitchers thinking ahead, well, where can I go for an out if I really need one? If John Smoltz were so inclined, he might look in at home plate right now and say, here's where I can go for an out. Reggie Sanders is 6 for 46 with a bunch of strikeouts against him. He does have 2 home runs. Outside.
Certainly quieted this crowd when Simon picked up that base hit.
He's amazing, isn't he? Is he the modern day Yogi Berra?
A little bit, yeah. That was a pretty good pitch he hit.
It's between the on-deck circles. He tries to find, he manages to find a way to get wood on it. Tying run at third. Possible go-ahead run all the way around at first. And the 1-0 coming to Sanders. Toward right field. Sheffield's got a bead on it. And Sheffield's got it. A clean sweep for the Braves. Sweep the Pirates, sweep the Rangers, and make the homestand a perfect one. Smoltz escapes a jam. Braves win it 6-5. We'll be back to Turner Field. Tally it all up for you right after this.